I mean, let's just start from the top.
Yeah.
Do our introductions again.
Okay, let's do introductions one more time then. Let's start back from the back. Everybody, Darj, go. Introduction. Introduce yourself. Tell everybody.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Hello, I am Darjanator, also known as Darj. If you've hung out with Buster or Paul, or maybe even Maiden Ariana a bit, you will know who I am. I annoy people on the internet. This is my goal in life, and also to make up for it, I also make pretty things like this overlay and a bit of a video that we'll see in a couple of minutes. And on this show, I play Lieutenant Junior Grade Nolan Voss of engineering, not the chief engineer, just the bridge engineer. I'm human, late 20s, normal looking, not this, short black hair, but otherwise not really any distinguishing features. Oh, and Caucasian, I'll just say that.
Buster?
Oh, we lost
Yeah.
Buster.
Yep.
No,
Nope.
sorry.
No, she's just
Tell the people-
lost in thought.
Tell people who you are. Maiden Ariana, tell people who you are and in and out of character, please.
I'm sorry. I'm Maiden Ariana, and I am. Let's see. I am on the weekly show on Yacht Club, part of the Star Citizen community. One of the hosts, and I also do streaming on Twitch. I have a large retro PC collection that I do videos on YouTube for. And on this show, I play Lieutenant Ivana Netkiss, who is the science officer, and I'm half Orion and half human. And I need a drink of water.
You muted again, Buster.
Buster, you're yeah, the cam.
Klingon
over.
Pop Warrior, why don't you tell everybody who you are in and out of character while I also get water?
Not gonna fix the cam. Excellent.
Hi, everybody. I'm the Klingon Pop Warrior, Jen, or Jen Bomb. You can find me at KlingonPopWarrior.com. I sing pop and rock songs translated into the Klingon language, and I am the Klingon language consultant for Star Trek Prodigy. I also play video games really poorly here on Twitch a couple days a week. And I am Commander Jagar. Commander Jagar is a rather short-statured Klingon. She's the second Klingon to attend Starfleet Academy, and yeah, she likes to charge into action and get a little crazy because she's Klingon.
Well, excellent. She's gonna be a fun character. We're all gonna have fun characters here. And then, Mr. Disco Lando, tell people who you are in and out of character, please.
Hey, I'm Disco Lando, Jared Huckabee. In real life, I spend most of my time resisting creating fake Reddit accounts to argue with people about Star Citizen. Usually succeeding. Usually. In here, I am first officer and or security officer and acting first officer, Commander Shiv. He is an Andorian. Who's been around the block for several years, for a while. When he started, they still had the burgundy uniforms. He's dealt with his anger issues through the use of Vulcan meditation, and doesn't believe in being the traditional stereotypical Andorian. He has an affinity for default settings, and because he genuinely believes they spent a lot of time developing these default settings. You see, it's like it didn't just happen willy-nilly. I mean, there were focus groups, and there was lots of time and effort put into developing these things. Like if everybody just used default settings, then everybody could go to each other's workstations, and it'd be much more efficient, especially during battle or combat and stuff like this. So if you have to change them, just please see me for special dispensation. We can talk about it.
All right, micromanagement, Mike. Let's get on to Mr. Paul Shelley, aka Berserker 01, Batman.
The whole shebang. Hello, my name is Paul. I run a YouTube and Twitch channel called TheAstroPub, which does space and science fiction content. You also can find the other shows of TSMR there when we do those on Saturdays. But I usually do mostly Star Citizen content, but I do other content as well. You can come on twitch.tv/TheAstroPub or youtube.com/TheAstroPub. And I play Nemean Bears, who is a joined Trill. And he's the captain of the Shran. I'm not going to reveal too much, just that he is a joined Trill who's been joined a few times. He's not the symbiote is not very old. I'll say that. So for Trill.
Accident prone, I guess.
Well, I mean, like I'll say he only has had 4 previous hosts. So.
Right on. Well, yeah, he's a younger symbiote, but an older, like a middle-aged Trill.
Yes.
So there you go. Well, and I, for those of you who don't know me, my name is BusterTheDestroyer. I'm a lot of trouble in a lot of people's lives. And I stream here on Twitch, obviously on this channel, doing Star Citizen and stuff like that. But in this game, in particular, in this show, I am your game master. So you're welcome. You're welcome, both chat and cast. You're welcome. No, I'm the game master. This is my 3rd campaign of Star Trek Adventures that I will have game mastered. All my 2 other campaigns were kind of short-lived because my friends are dumb and they make terrible decisions and they get themselves killed in these games. So hopefully y'all are not that dumb, and I hope that
EPK first round. All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
Speed run.
I can't say much. I've literally had a character die in a first session of a D&D game, and I was so pissed. But that's a story for another day. So, with all said, everybody, let's kind of first of all, let me give you an idea of what the show is. This is Star Trek Solace. Their ship is called the USS Shran, NCC 1413-C. So it is the 4th ship of this name. It obviously Shran, if you watch Enterprise, Shran is kind of the guy who always came and saved the Enterprise. So that's kind of the inspiration behind the name of the ship. Though there is a Shran in Discovery. So it kind of, 2 and 2 made 4 in this case. And their mission type is actually a medical and it's like aid and rescue. So they have a lot of medical facilities, but they're also very able to, or they're very well equipped to evacuate people, to take on a lot of people in a pinch and things like that, and to render aid, whether that's medical aid or that's dropping supplies, a multitude of things. You can kind of, in your mind, you can probably imagine a lot of situations where a ship like this would be very relevant in a situation. And yeah, do you think I'm missing anything from a general overview of the show?
Only if you want to talk about the 2 other
the
characters.
Timing of it?
The timing of
what era we're in?
2379 and
69.
Or pardon me, sorry, 69.
Nice.
But it starts in 2369, and the beginning of the episode will give you a very good point. Like, I don't want to spoil it before we get into it, but the beginning of the episode is going to give you a very good idea of where we are in the year 2369.
Do we still have our passenger on board?
Yes, you actually have a couple more that will be revealed to you in a little bit. Anyway, with that said, before we do all that, let's play the intro, and Paul will go into your scene after that. So here we go. Are y'all ready for the intro, everybody? Let me find the button. All right. For some reason, my camera is missing from this scene, but that's okay. I'll just be the voice.
It's okay.
I'll just be the voice of God for now, or you know who. So you're walking through you're walking through the what do you call it? The recreation deck, and you are accompanied by Jadzia Dax. Her hands are clasped behind her back. You're both at kind of a leisurely stroll of a pace.
The first thing I'll do is as we're walking is turn to Jedzia and explain, how does it feel?
Being joined, you mean?
Yes.
She kind of smile, like she's thinking, but it turns into that bright Jadzia Dax smile we all know. And she says, initially it was jarring, but it's very new to me still. But I'm enjoying it if that's what you want to know.
He kind of looks away and then kind of just, nods and goes, it's off at first, kind of like a ill-fitting suit, but after a couple of days, you are surprised you were ever anything else.
Yeah. And she kind of sort of jump like that makes her eyes widen out, like, yes, you hit the nail on the head kind of thing. And she says, yes, that's exactly it. It's new, but it's not bad by any means. It's just different. But I'm enjoying it for the most part, though I am finding that Curzon, yeah, she just kind of looks down. He's still a very strong influence. She's turning her head from looking down, turning her head to you more directly. She says, I'm finding that Curzon still has a very strong presence.
He'll fade into the background eventually, just like the rest of them. But while we're here, I do want to address the fact that Curzon slapped my last host in the butt at that conference in, I guess, 2655 or 26.
23.
20. Yeah, 2623.
A few years ago.
Yes.
And then she looks at you and she kind of gets like a pirate smile on her face a little bit, like Curzon would. Well, I can't say he was the most well behaved of the hosts.
All I can say is that it was not appreciated.
And Jadzia herself kind of nods, and that's a bit more of her as Jadzia, more so in this like in that part of the conversation. She nods. She's like, I think I understand, and she just nods to you. And she sighs, and then she asks, "So, how much further are we from Bajor? Where we should be arriving soon?" And you know in your head that it's just, it's about like you have less than an hour.
He kind of looks around and goes, soon enough, but don't be rushing off to meet your destiny anytime soon. Take some time, stroll the decks. We'll get there when we get there. In the meantime, you need to get used to this.
That's fair. But I will say that if you need something, I'm aboard, and I have no problems assisting with any operations you need.
I appreciate that, especially with one of your extensive skill, Dax. But for now, you're under orders to relax. You understand?
Understood. And then she, you and her eventually part. You've kind of finished your walk, and she goes off to, go get something to eat, and then you go off to the bridge. So, with that said, we are now in the bridge with everybody else. And it's like we're just gonna kind of skip forward in that hour. We you are all accompanied by 4 other ships. Let me get their names out. You are accompanied by the USS Phlox, the USS, I can't say the word, Asclepius. I can't say words. USS Kyoto and the USS Nandi. The Phlox is a medical ship. The Sicily, I can't say the word, medical and aid ship. The Kyoto is kind of acting as a supply carrier for you guys right now. And the Nandi is an escort frigate, and it also is carrying supplies. So in this case, it's supplies, but it's also there to defend a bit more heavily than the rest of you. And each of these ships is packed with equipment and supplies, and people, of course, to begin what you're about to endeavor into. So when you arrive, you all like come out of warp, like bamf, right at the same time. And there before you is the planet of Bajor, which is a very large planet. If you aren't aware, Bajor's pretty huge, like in comparison to something like Earth. It's a very, very large planet with many provinces, as we know. And of course, in the distance, there is Terok Nor orbiting. Or does it orbit? Yeah, it orbits, doesn't it? No, it doesn't really orbit. It's just kind of hovers, but it's there. And you have all these other ships. You have those captains on these other ships. They are awaiting your orders, Captain. Everybody.
Everybody.
So there you go. And like you know, whether you want to start assessing the situation with state scanners, whatever. What's the first move here?
So what's our primary mission for the so far? Is just aid and relief.
Yeah, you're just supposed to render aid and relief to kind of. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of Bajorans that need medical assistance. There's going to be some long-term goals that are going to need to be established with helping the Bajoran people. Literally, like the last of the Cardassian like warships that's leaving, that's packing people up, is off in the distance with like a few others, right? Like there's a couple of them that clearly look like they're getting ready to leave, but some of them are docked at Terok Nor because they have like about 2 more weeks to get a couple more weeks to get out of Terok Nor. Or they have a couple days, pardon me, they have a few days to get out of Terok Nor.
Okay.
They have 48 hours. But you you have all kind, like you're going into this kind of blind. You just know that you have to help Bajor in whatever ways seem most appropriate. And of course, they kind of lack a bit of a government, so that may be a difficult situation to figure out.
Okay. Would I know that there's a Bajoran militia?
Yeah, no, you've all been briefed of kind of what's been happening in Bajor, so you are aware there's a militia. There is some organization on the ground as we speak, but they're probably in the process of trying to get in contact with one another and sort of figure out where they're at.
All right. Beers will turn Commander Jagar. Get me in contact with anyone on the planet. Any officials. Find me the highest official you can think.
Okay. So they have they have a high command at this point of some kind, don't they? I mean,
Yeah,
they don't have a government.
It's mostly their militia that they're the most organized right now. So that's probably your best bet.
Yeah. Okay, so that's who I'm going to try to get on comms.
After a few minutes of tries and things like that, like you find somebody, and it's a Bajoran woman. She looks very. She's got a lot of people behind her doing a lot. There's a lot going on. It's kind of a mess. And she looks at you, and she says, "This is Kira Nerys. How can I help you?" She's very terse.
We are here, and this is the USS Shran is here, and our captain is here to speak with you.
Fine. And then, it goes to the view screen after that. And Captain, you have the floor.
Yeah, he stands up and looks at the screen and goes, "This is Captain Demian Beers of the USS Shran."
Demian Beers. You said Demian Beers.
Demian Beers. Demian Beers. Demian Beers of the USS Shran. We're here to render all aid and assistance.
All right. We're still in the middle of kind of figuring out what we need. And she's very irritated. She seems to be a bit. She doesn't necessarily want you there. You can kind of. You're already getting that vibe from her, and so she's being like, just can we have a little bit of time to figure out what we need and where we need it.
Can I do some sort of check to see
yes,
what's
absolutely.
if there's anything seems off? Like obviously she's stressed, but anything specific.
Yeah.
Um,
This is a general observation,
mhm.
which generally is a difficulty 0. So you can actually choose to roll it, but you have the risk of not
Mhm.
being successful, or you can just kind of choose to not roll it. So, which you'll get a general success, which obviously.
All right. I will try to roll it. It's just
So
insight command or something.
Yeah, no, actually, let's do presence command.
Okay.
Let's do presence command. Oh no, insight. You're right. Insight. Sorry, that's an
Insight.
observation.
Okay. Task roll 2.
Let me look.
No complications.
No complications. Yeah. So you did great.
All right.
Hold
on.
Oh,
1.
That's new.
There you
go. So yeah, it was a difficulty 0, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell that it's a lot of it's just stress from the last of the Cardassians. Like it's literally you're there just moments after this has happened.
Okay.
It's still a scramble, but there is that feeling of, they just got done with the Cardassians and new people are showing up, even though you were asked by other officials. She's just the one you were able to get in touch with. So there was some official capacity that requested, but your presence in this regard, among somewhat little bit of leadership they do have, but yeah, you can just sense it's not xenophobia. It's just
hesitation.
She doesn't know to trust you. She doesn't know you from Adam or Eve. All right. So she's not really into this. But yeah, so she and of course she's like dirty. Everybody's like it's like a mishmash behind her. And then she makes a suggestion. Okay. She says, if you want to get started somewhere, I would recommend, you Starfleet people apparently have these great sensors. Maybe you could figure out where the Cardassians did the most damage before they left. And you can actively see, even if you looked at Bajor on a view screen, you can see, areas that looks like it might be atmosphere, but it also could be burning smoke. It could just be destruction. It's not in good shape. And of course, I imagine somebody like Uvana, Uvana, are you scanning in the background? Are you doing anything during any of this?
I was awaiting the captain's order just in case scanning would be seen as
so she just
something that she wouldn't appreciate. So
Kieran Reese just encourages. She just says, if you want to get started, if you want to help us, maybe you could start assessing the worst of our damage with your sensors, and that would be helpful.
Thank you, Major. We'll do our best. We'll get in contact with you. Or she's just Major, right?
Yeah, it's Major. Yeah, you can tell she's Major.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she just kind of abruptly ends the comms because she's too busy. She's done with your shit right now. So
at this point, he turned to how do you even say it pronouncedly? Uvana. As Lieutenant Uvana, right?
Yeah, Lieutenant.
I'm trying to get the pitch right. Yeah.
Yes.
Lieutenant Uvana, please give me a comprehensive scan. Find the most at risk and at where we can do best. Where they can use our skills the best.
And Buster, is that kind of an automatic thing, or is that something?
No, you're gonna roll for this, and I'm also gonna roll the ship to help you, since I got it open right here. So what you're gonna roll is likely. Let me look at a character sheet.
Control and science, most likely, or
yeah, I would say
no. Control is using it. Its insight is for
reason.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's just do insight science. It makes the most sense. Insight science. Yeah, and let's see if you have any focuses that would be. Do you think you have any focuses that would be relevant to this task of kind of do a planetary scan and assessing damage?
Only computer systems, really, on that one.
Nah, so yeah, I wouldn't. So no focus. 2 die, of course, as usual, and then the ship will roll sensors and science. with 1. So go ahead and do your roll.
So insight would be gathering information,
Ooh,
reason
good.
would be figuring out what to do with that information, and control is then applying what you learned.
Cool. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Thank you. And so the ship didn't get any successes, but you did plenty. It was a difficulty of 2. So you add. Would you like to spend your momentum, or would you like to add it to the momentum pool? You can
Add it to the
change the
pool.
outcome. You can make it better. You can do what you want to do. So
Let's add it to the pool on that
okay.
one.
So one momentum is in your group pool. Everybody.
2.
2. It should be 2 because I got 1.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I
At the very
yours.
beginning. So
I missed yours. So yeah. So now you have 2 in the group pool. What you were able to tell is that. Let me pull up my notes. You were able to. I believe it's called Racantha Province. I think this is the correct province. Somebody in the chat correct me with the right name if there is something going on. It is suffering heavy damage to its soils and it's like a lot of. It was formerly, from what you know from briefing, it was like the different provinces. You can you have a little research console that can tell you what province that is. And if I'm right, it's Racantha Province, and Racantha Province is showing signs of it's like it's poison. It's like it's got poison in it, and it's pretty toxic right now. And from what you do understand, one of the things you do know is you do have some soil reclamators. You have various supplies that can help with those issues on different ships. However, you can also if you do some research, you might figure out some ways to do it from ship or from above. But yeah, that toxicity in that soil seems to just be increasing by the second. And that's not good. What else you can tell is you can kind of generally sense like where there's heavier populations of the Bajorans, which would most likely lead you to where maybe medical and aid needs to go first. And overall, there are just various pockets of destruction that you can see, like a fresh damage, whether it's buildings, it's structures. That's all very specific, so you'll have to get specific information about that. But what you can just tell, there's like fires. It's just it's all on fire in some places. So overall, but
Captain.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I need to shut up.
Captain, in the result of my scanning shows that in the Racantha province, there are problems with the soil, and it seems that it's a problem that is increasing. We do have the ability to negate what's happening for the moment, but we also should do more research into why this is happening and see what we can do to prevent it from getting worse.
Very good, Lieutenant. Why don't you form a team, start doing more research into that. In the meantime, Commander Shiv.
Commander Shiv, during this whole time, using previous knowledge, no active scanning, no just previous experience with Cardassian ship, has been programming and firing solutions for the Cardassian ships. They're there that don't require any scanning. That don't require any. They can't give any tell. It's just there at his pattern, like making macros. Because he's new to the ship. The ship doesn't have this stuff pre-programmed like his last ship did. When he was in the Dominion, when he was in the Cardassian War. So he's been doing this. So he just kind of yes, Captain.
Can you assemble a team to with possible hazardous environment suits to beam down to Racantha Province to try to assess the situation on the ground? I'd like, as much as I trust our sensors, I'd also like someone on the ground who has more experience with emergency situations.
Science. All right, will do, Captain. It looks at Uvana and looks at Nolan and says, "You too." And just kind of turns around and walks to the turbo lift.
Yes, sir.
I
start
said,
following.
I turn around and say,
Aye.
not Uvana there, Commander. Uvana, I want you to stay on the ship and gather a team of scientists and try to analyze this from above. You grab anyone else from the
Aye,
science team,
Captain.
though. Shiv.
He's just gonna look at Nolan and goes, "Do you do science?"
In a pinch, sure.
Better than me. Let's go.
And there's another science officer that's like in a research console aboard. Like there's
I mean, we have hundreds
you
of
can
crew
make up
members
an
as well.
officer
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to tell you.
Assemble a away team, effectively. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What was you saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I pointed some other people in teal uniforms.
Okay. So they come along, and then what else, Captain? Like anything else that you want to do?
Oh, the last thing I was going to say is Commander Jagar, open a line with the Cardassian ships in orbit.
Yes, Captain. So I would open up a hailing. I'm hailing the Cardassian ships. Are they parked at Tarak Nor right now?
Yeah, some of them are docked. Some of
Parked.
them are kind of moving
Docked.
around that area. Like Tarak Nor, I think, has 16. I believe it's 16 docks that can handle a scale 8 ship. So yeah, there's not 16 of them, but there's certainly like at least 4 or 5. There's some others kind of in the whole area. They're just moving around. So total around Bajor, there's probably a total of like about 8 or 9 Cardassian warships.
Can I open just a general hailing frequency, like just a general hailing frequency across all of them?
Yes, absolutely you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so
That's what I do.
you open it, but of course when you open a channel like that, you don't necessarily like see somebody.
Anything. Yeah.
So this is just y'all sending a message straight out to them. So, Captain. And by the way, you see this happening, like you hear this happening just as the turbo lift door shuts, Shiv.
Yeah.
So
this is Captain Nemian Beers of the USS Shran to all Cardassian vessels around Bajor. We are here to render aid and assistance to the Bajorans, and will offer any assistance we can give to make your departures as speedy and efficient as possible.
you do get like somebody pops in on the view screen and makes connection. It's a very smarmy looking Cardassian, and he just kind of looks annoyed at you. He says, "Captain, you only needed to contact me." He seems offended by the fact that you like said it to everybody. And it's Gul Dukat.
I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, sir.
Gul Dukat of the Cardassian military.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dukat. I was just analyzing the situation. You seem to be a little flustered where you are currently. So I figured, why not extend a helping hand from the Federation?
He breathes in a little bit, and then he says, "I don't think we will be needing your assistance, Captain, but thank you for the offer." Is there
In the
anything
background,
else?
in the background, I'm doing long range scans just to try and like determine exactly where his ship is and where the transmission was
This
coming
is coming
from.
from Tarak Nor. This is coming from
Tarak Nor, okay.
Yeah, this is coming from Tarak Nor, the office.
Got it.
I will command the fleet. Oh, go ahead, Jagar.
Oh, I was gonna say culturally savvy Jagar over here is probably gonna be like, Captain, I would cut the
She's like,
Yeah. He looks back and just kind of goes, yeah. Go ahead.
Shiv, who's in the turbo lift, watching through Chromecast on his little pad here. Pub on your console to the right, you start seeing firing solutions just like scrolling up. He's just like sliding them over.
He shakes his head and goes, "Yes, Goldukat. Do you have any? Oh, what's the name of that thing? What's the name of that drink that they always have?
Gnar.
Gnar.
Syrupy.
Do you have any Gnar that you could leave for us? I've heard that it's a very interesting taste."
He just looks at you and he says, Well, certainly, Captain, but I can't say that, or what's the words I'm trying to say? I can't say that I would want to ask anything from the Trill, but because they are not known for their liquor. That's a dig, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
he's calling the Trill out, because they don't have
Okay.
any liquor in canon, by the way, that we know of.
Yeah.
It's nothing. The Trill, from what I understand, Trill spirits are nothing notable.
That's why we seek out the spirits of other races. Thank you,
Well,
Mr. Ducat. Please,
Got
again.
out, and he
if-
just
Yeah,
he doesn't
hangs
let
up.
you finish. He's done.
Done.
He's done. He's done talking to you, and you know, and so all the ships heard the whole
Yeah.
conversation, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's gonna realize that later. By the way,
the after it turns around, the last thing he's do is turn around and look at Commander Jagar and goes, Cardassians understand strength, and they are very, very arrogant. So it's best to both remind them that we're here and also play a little to their own arrogance.
and then with that, we are gonna go to the next scene. We're gonna get into. I guess we're gonna go with the first officer and his team. First of all, how are you? What are we doing, and how are we transporting? What's going on? So let's cut to y'all in the turbo lift. You get off where you're going to go.
Have the scans indicated there would be any issue with transporting, or is it so we need to use shuttles?
There's no
or is it
issue
fine?
with transporting, but depending on what you do, you may need to take a shuttle. So, Shiv, you have what, 2 or 3 science officers with you, and of course Nolan. Is that
Sure. Probably 2 science officers, 2 engineers.
okay? Cool. So, Chief Engineer Gator will be accompanied with you. Then we'll put him. In
Shit,
the
my
scene.
boss.
Yeah. He's okay. First of all, so your Chief Engineer Gator. People tend to call him Gator, and he doesn't mind. He is a 7-foot tall Gorn. He is just so you have a sense of who he is and what he's like. He's actually very, very what's the word? Amicable. He's actually a really amicable person. He's really sweet. He's kind of to business when he needs to be to business. He's very professional. But one of his big things is you would know this, especially Shiv. He's a very good delegator because he tends to have butterfingers because he's so big and powerful and so strong. He's one of those that lets a lot of other people do the kind of the small tasks of like the more intricate things because he's a little tough to it's tough for him to deal with really delicate things because he's very strong and he tends to break things a lot, but he's super good at his job, very amicable guy. But of course, because he's like that, you know, he's so imposing looking that people think they assume he's a lot meaner than he is, but he's super nice. He's a sweetheart. But yeah, he's very talented in many things within engineering, especially warp engines and replicators. Replicators is one of his kind of weird specialties. And then, you know, the science officers with you are just some general science officers. If y'all want to name them and all that, we'll come up with names and all that. They can be secondary characters later. But there you go. So what's your move here? Where are we going? What are we doing?
To my understanding, the purpose of our mission at the moment is to go down to the Cantha province and conduct more thorough on-site scans of the soil, determine what is causing the negative condition, and resolve it. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's up to you really if you want to take shuttles or you want to transport. You can transport gear with you. You can or you can do transporter, or you can just shuttle all that down. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I would just transport. I don't see any reason to take the additional delay at the moment.
Okay, so I assume then y'all are going to the transport bay after getting the appropriate equipment that you need. Transporter bay, whichever one you prefer.
Probably the one in a cargo bay where all the equipment was stored.
Okay.
Yep, I'll probably go to the cargo bay actually, and then just direct we'll go to the cargo bay, and I'll just direct everybody. Like, he goes, I'll recount the mission to everybody, pretty much like I just did, and be like, so grab whatever science stuff you need.
Yeah, you'll take like
Uh,
some specialized equipment, like some kind of one specialized maybe to soil, like soil testing and things like that. It's not too much different than a normal thing.
And I'll grab one of the standard suitcases for engineering stuff, tricorders, wrenches, you
Yeah,
know,
an engineer's kit. Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
thingy.
Well, okay.
A lot of things that make funny noises. That's what I mean.
I'll look over at Shank and be like, "Do you have what you need?" And a little like hand trowel will materialize from the front. Like, excellent.
All right, so y'all all beam down, and you end up in an area that's like, the transport person puts you kind of at the edge of this destruction because it's not harmful to you, like, to breathe it, to be around it necessarily, but if you were probably in contact with a long time, like skin contact, so you guys would have stuff like gloves and appropriate like shoes and things like that, but yeah, if you would come in like direct contact with it with your skin for a prolonged amount of time, it would be bothersome to you, but it is increasing in toxicity. So when you get down there, what are our moves here? What are our first moves?
Well, first, for Chad's benefit, who is Shank?
Shank.
Shank
Yeah, you explain that. I mean,
Shank is my emotional support exocomp. He basically follows me around and helps when needed. Shiv is generally speaking anti technology, anti science, unless it can kill. So Shank was assigned to him by Starfleet Medical to help him acclimate and become accustomed to the technology of the modern 24th century.
well, there you go. There's Shank, everybody. A cool little exocomp that's here to help Shiv. So again, what are we doing first?
He's I feel like Shiv would just kind of look over at Gator and be like, "Well, you do your thing. You know your job."
And he just nods, and he gets started. He kind of pairs up with some of the science people over there. He tells you, of Nolan. He looks at you and says, "Could you get with one of them and start taking soil samples while I just run some general scans in this area?"
Sure. Unless something goes wrong, I guess I'll just be an assistant for now. So I'll pair up with one of the
Yeah,
science
and you're like they're kind of
dudes.
the one bossing them around because you are senior staff.
While they're
So
working, Shiv
go
is
ahead.
basically taking regular 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the horizon. He's basically regularly scanning the horizon looking for threats or approaches, or he's doing what he can do in this situation
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
clearly outside of his wheelhouse.
So for Gator, I'm gonna roll probably an insight and science.
But by the way, what sort of situation was it like in the turbo lift with Gator? Is like this his head like reach the ceiling, so he has to go like this, or
It's
are the
tall
turbo
enough.
lifts
It's
tall
actually
enough?
long enough. Like they're by standard about 9 or so feet tall. So
Right.
but it's like going through the doorways is like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he does generally, like, he's just tall enough for the doorway to be like, but he still always ducks his head slightly when he comes through a doorway. It's like he could walk smooth under it for the most part, but he's got those spikes and things like, he's or not spikes, but he's just got enough of a texture to his skin and stuff that he kind of ducks just to avoid any things. And it's warm, by the way. It's like kind of warm. It's daytime and where you are. He seems to enjoy it because he is, of course, cold-blooded. Oh, why is my sound on my TV here? Let me see what I rolled. What did I roll? Does anybody see it? Ooh, yeah. So he is starting to he's scanning. He actually succeeds at this scanning. However, his immediate complication is that he's starting to while he's doing it, he's doing a lot of scratching. He's doing a lot of scratching all of a sudden. That y'all, maybe Shiv, you start to notice this. He's really scratching all of a sudden with a tricorder in one hand and the scratching with the other.
I'm just gonna kind of saddle up next to him and be like, "Is everything okay, Chief Engineer?"
He just kind of looks. He turns to you and looks down, and he doesn't. It took him a second to notice what you he realizes after a second what you mean. He's like, and he looks at his scans before he answers you, and he says, "It seems that this environment or whatever's in the soil, it seems that it's not doing well with my pores."
Do we need to provide any Gatorade?
Sorry. Okay.
Shiv is going to immediately just like burn phasers into Nolan Voss's face. Just look at him and be like, and he goes, and just kind of look back and go, and just like, what can we do to help, Chief Engineer?
Well, he says, it looks like I shouldn't be here for more than maybe an hour, but it is going to get worse based on what I'm seeing. It seems like I may need to return and send somebody else. Perhaps it would be beneficial to include a medical officer to help with this. To replace what he's trying to say is he's saying it might be appropriate to have a medical officer come down in his place.
Mm.
That's what he said.
Yep. Shiva will look at the two science officers, and like, any medical training amongst you?
They all kind of, they're not, no, like they do,
Okay.
but not like at a very minimal level. He's suggesting like a more advanced medical
Okay.
person.
All right. And then he's just gonna kind of mumble under his breath, "It's always something," and hit his communicator and go, "Shiv to Shran, come in."
Jagar or Captain,
Jagar.
y'all can answer that, whichever one of you.
This is the this is the USS Shran. How can we help you?
We may have left a little too abruptly and without a medical officer. Please assign one from the pool and send them down to our location as soon as possible.
I will see what I can do for you.
Any of them with knowledge of Gorn physiology would be a plus.
Okay. Is everybody okay down there?
Yeah, looks like our chief engineer is either reacting to something in the soil or, well, the only other time I've seen a Gorn with an itch like this was on Ryza, so let's hope it's the soil, because the other one didn't have a solution.
I will get Dr. Hoff on that.
And then
He could certainly use some Gatorade. And just gonna fucking look back at Nolan Voss again, just fucking like,
And just
it's like my joke now, bitch.
Also, every time there's a complication, there will be puns and bad jokes. So that's just if we're suffering in game, we have to suffer as players as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so he'll just wrap up saying, he goes, "Get it done, Shiv out."
okay. I assume you call Dr. Hoff Jagar, and he answers. So Hoff.
Dr. Hoff, they're experiencing some issues down on Bajor in the Renketha province. Is that
Rakantha.
The Renkantha province? The soil is causing some itches on Gator.
I was briefed. He got a brief from somebody on the bridge about it. He's been monitoring medical really hardcore right now because he is also in the middle of coordinating, like figuring even though that's not necessarily an order that maybe was given to the captain on camera, but we're gonna assume it was an off-camera order for now. And he's already in the midst of. There's 2 medical ships or 2 ships that are focused in medical, so he is actually helping coordinate those 2 ships and figure out where they're landing. And he has landing zones for them and ready. So he's saying, I will send somebody very soon. I'll have somebody report immediately. Huff out. And he's very busy. Oh, did you have something else to say to him? Sorry.
No, it's all right. Well, I mean, I would love to get into the action if the captain will let me. Like, anything I can do to get down there and offer some help, I am in for it. Maybe just
Beers is gonna look over at Jagar as she's talking and go, grab a doctor. Don't listen to Hoff. Just grab a doctor and go down. And turn back
find
to
a doctor wandering in the hallway on your way to the shuttle bay.
You're with me.
Please, just pick him up over the shoulder and run to the teleporters.
So you just grab this
We're
wandering doctor, and he's like, oh, okay. And he doesn't seem to be bothered at all. He looks like he's rank of lieutenant, and he's kind of a thin guy. He just, yeah, sure, he just starts to roll with it. He doesn't care. Are you going to the transport bay, or are you going to a shuttle bay?
I think we're gonna take a shuttle down.
Okay.
Just because that might actually offer some respite in case, like, away from the like
that works. No, I get it. That's awesome. I like that. So y'all take
over at my station. Sorry.
Oh, go. No, I was gonna say he even suggests some stuff. Y'all take, and y'all take that. So let me move on real quick to
So you probably want to take one of the
my scene flow.
You probably want to take one of the medical or aid shuttles. Big bones.
Yeah, that's fine. And those are kind of sciencey shuttles too. They can be remodulated, but yeah, y'all
as Jagar runs off though, I rerun my scans for like the 8th time and just sigh because I'm
okay. Well, let's do
jealous
something
of being
with
left
that. Let's
out.
roll the same roll you rolled earlier with your scans.
Okay. Should still be set up.
Okay, is that? Oh yeah, you did. Okay, you did crit it. So what you find, it's kind of not really much. You're kind of getting the same info, but the complication that's going to come through here is there's basically a really bad storm about to hit a very heavily populated province. However, like, the storm isn't exactly like, it's not man-made by any means, but you can tell by some of the signatures going on with it that it was kind of like there was something added to that part of the atmosphere that's making, like, it's like acid rain, but it's a bit more intense than just normal acid rain. So it can actually do some damage, like minor damage to a person, but it's not going to be good if it's a monsoon like it's expected to be.
I report to the captain that, Captain, it does seem like there is something deliberate going on here. There's a storm approaching. What's the name of the province? Does it matter? All right.
I don't know. I can't remember like a highly populated one, but we'll just say like one of the provinces for now. Say it, one of the provinces.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's putting this province in danger. It does appear that there's something more going on here than just natural issues with the soil and the weather in general.
And it's a different province than Mercantha, or province. Sorry.
So you're saying that you think someone is intentionally causing these problems?
That's both my hunch and from what I'm seeing on the scanner side.
Yeah.
You know what? He kind of calms over. He hits his comm badge. Beers to Dax.
Dax.
Dax, you are no longer on orders for rest. I need you to come up here and help my science officer. They think that something is going on in the on the planet, and we need to get down to it.
reporting to the bridge now. And she
Thank you.
She starts to head up.
That beer's out.
Okay, so let's cut back to the group at the soil. Now, it's like, I don't know, it's not very long after. It's a quick shuttle. These shuttles are pretty, they're pretty good. And y'all are close enough that it's like not a huge drive. But you get there in about 15-20 minutes from where you are, and you guys arrive, and the doctor that's with you is a Dr. Julian Bashir.
Just some nobody doctor.
Jagar.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just some lieutenant named Bashir, Lieutenant Bashir, or Dr. Bashir. And he, on the way, he's really like, he asks you a lot of questions about being a Klingon in Starfleet. He's like, so what is it like to like, he's just mystified by you.
It was a great way to get away from my family, and I just dove right in and had a good time. It was, you can always find a party in Starfleet if you know where to look. That was,
He nods, especially when you say the get away from your family, and you can tell he really relates to that in particular. The other thing is he just kind of smiles, and he kind of says, "I've heard that Klingon women are great at parties," which you can take offense to if you want.
oh, little Taryn, you have no idea what you're getting into with me. Just go sit in the back and calibrate some shit.
He kind of he's not intimidated by you. Like, you are Klingon after all, and he does, like, he just says yes, ma'am. He goes back to like working and instead of bothering you. And then y'all land, and there's everybody there. And when you get there, Gator is just like, he's at this point, he's kind of moved away from everybody a little bit. He's gotten some distance from these soils, and it is spreading. So that's another thing that's coming through here now, y'all, is it does seem to, it seems to be spreading. Whatever's happening is spreading out. So y'all are able to sort of track its movement of spread.
Is anybody else affected, or like even
The rest
slightly?
of y'all seem okay. Some of you, like, let's see, Shiv, you, first of all, it's a warm environment, which you can be comfortable in it as an Andorian, but you feel a bit of like, when you have like phlegm and you're trying to get it out, that's kind of how you're feeling. Like, you feeling like almost like a phlegmy buildup starting to happen.
Okay.
But you may not notice it right away. It just depends on how much you notice it.
Okay.
So yeah, so y'all see a shuttle land in the distance, and there's and out from it comes Jagar and some doctor.
So we can visually see
they're
a discoloration on the ground that's spreading.
No, like your tricorders are picking up, but
Okay.
also like you can tell it, like where it kind of more of where like places where it's deeper in, you are starting to see a discoloration of. It seems like it takes a while for the discolorations to happen, but you can track with tricorders that it is spreading. It just takes it a while to like sort of visually be represented.
Okay. In the time since we called, Shank has been hovering near Gator with a materialized blue hand holding a electrolyte drink in the flavor of Cool Blue. And I'm just going to be like, Shank, come here, your tricorder. And he'll materialize my tricorder for me.
He passes over.
But I'll also take the drink, and because my throat is phlegmy. And I just scan and basically just call one of the science people over. He goes, "Tell me what this means."
And he looks at, what does what mean? They ask.
What's happening with the soil right now? It seems to be getting worse.
Something's affecting it, sir. And they, and the thing is Nolan, roll me. I want you specifically to roll me reason engineering.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to roll reason
Reason,
engineering. And
reason engineering.
what are your focuses? Just list them off real fast.
To do with medical engineering and medical nanoprobes that could fit here.
Medical engineering is fine. So go ahead and
Okay.
yes, you have a focus there and roll that.
Sure. And task roll 2?
Yes,
Complication?
task roll 2. Complication range 1.
1. And we lost all momentum because this
Your
is a new scene,
difficulty is
right?
going to be 3. So
And we lost all momentum because this is a new scene, right? You said.
actually, you actually between scenes you lose 1 momentum.
1 momentum.
Yeah, it doesn't reset. I just realized that yesterday.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you just
Cool.
lose
So we
1
have
momentum.
1.
Yes, you have 1
Right.
momentum.
I'll still do a normal roll and then see what happens. Can I use?
You can use
Okay,
your
I can
momentum
only use
after the
a.
roll. Yes.
Wait, if I want to choose momentum, can I select it from the pool afterwards, or only if I roll?
No,
Can I use?
that's the beauty of a lot of the momentum spins, or most of them, is they can happen after you've made the roll. So you can
Right.
change the outcome. That's the whole point of
Okay.
momentum. Okay.
Yeah.
Part of
Okay. Okay.
inspiration.
So I'll try. What happened?
Did you roll? There.
I
Why
did.
did I
Yeah.
not- Oh, okay.
Sorry. I think I have 3D dice enabled. I'm gonna just disable that.
You also can look at your talents to see if anything buys you a die after the fact. Also, again, you can spend that momentum to buy a die. Or spend your determination to gain, to get an automatic 2 added.
No. I think I'll spend just 1 more momentum.
To get another
Hold on.
die.
I accidentally closed the game. Sorry. Need to open my sheet again. So you said the difficulty is 3, right?
Yeah. So you can buy
Okay.
another die.
Yeah. Well.
Ah, look at you. So y'all all get 1. So 1 momentum is in the pool again, unless you want to
Nice.
spend it immediately. But
No, I'm good.
okay. But what you're picking up is there is something that's dispensing this into you. You're basically picking up that there is something mechanical that is dispensing this, and perhaps if that was stopped or found and located, you could have a better assessment.
Could
of
I
what's happening.
could I use the sort of vectors of the spread to figure out the potential
Triangulate it?
source of it? Yeah.
No, you would probably need something more powerful like a shuttle or ship to kind of figure that out. It's whatever it is.
Oh.
It's you can tell it's really advanced medical engineering, and it's or not medical, but engineer like that engineering, and it's gonna be kind of hard to fish out.
Sure. I'll just report. Commander, it seems that this is something that is man-made, or sorry, let's try to be PC. It is artificially made. It's not naturally occurring. But unfortunately, these small trackers aren't powerful enough to determine a source. We would probably need the scanners in that thing. And I point at the shuttle.
And it's a Danube class shuttle, or however you say that.
Danube?
Yeah.
Danube is a runabout.
It's a
Yeah.
runabout. You have
Do we
pretty
have-
much mostly runabouts.
Oh, okay.
We have a big ship.
Yeah, all right.
Shuttles.
He's just gonna look at you and be like, and a grin will come across his face and like something to shoot.
Potentially.
And he's like, it's like, and he'll look at is Jakar and are they still like coming from the shuttle, or are they?
Yeah,
they
they landed
arrived
so
from the
close
shuttle?
to y'all. Like they probably, Jakar, like you can walk in the scene when you want, or do you want to walk in now? Did
Right.
you walk in a moment ago?
I was actually gonna say I should probably go and grab Gator, Gator, and I was gonna help him over to the shuttle, to get him out of the range of whatever is in the soil.
And when you come by to him, he says, "Commander Jakar, it's good. It is good to see you." And he's just scratching, and then Bashir's next to you, and Bashir just immediately starts scanning him. And and then Bashir says, "Oh my, you need to get inside."
So then I would probably try to drag his sorry Gorn, but into the
he's
shuttle?
not non-compliant at all.
Is he non-compliant?
No, I mean
Okay.
he's fine. I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying he's not non-compliant. He's absolutely like, yes, this is just so much. Like he's super. You know, you can tell he's always got a good spirit about him, but he's just kind of like, yeah. Like he's agreeing with you. So he
All right.
has no problems going to the shuttle.
Great.
But he has to sit down in the shuttle. He's a little tall, and it just skates over his head. So he just kind of has to sit down and spread out a little bit. And it's a medical shuttle, so it has like a bed and stuff. And Julian just has him sit up on the bed.
Cool.
But what do you do after that? Do you stay with the rest of the group, or you just let Julian kind of deal with him?
I would probably let Julian deal with them, and then I'm gonna go and find probably find Uvana. Is Uvana down there?
Uvana's actually on the ship still.
Still back on the ship? Okay, then I'm gonna go find Nolan.
Yeah, Nolan and everybody else is kind of standing in like nearby and like.
Well, if you were already in the shuttle, I'm going to be telling Nolan to go to the shuttle.
Oh,
so,
perfect.
So we're
they're all
moving
coming
the
up
mission
to you.
to the shuttle.
Yeah.
After you get Julian and him settled, they're kind of walking up to you.
Great. Hey, everybody.
I just acknowledge Jagar. What's your rank, boss?
Commander.
Lieutenant junior grade.
Right. Lieutenant Voss, utilize all means available here in the shuttle to identify the source of the contaminant, the target of our ire, and give me something to shoot.
I'll plop one of the tricoders onto the science station and have it automatically sync up and then start punching in some damn it, always some commands to.
If you were
start
using
looking
default
for
settings, this wouldn't happen.
Jagar, you have no idea what they're talking about. I mean, you know what he's talking about, but you're there's probably a bit of like, okay, y'all are just getting on the shuttle now? Cool.
All right. Then while he's doing that, I'll step back with Jagar and Phil Jagar, and he goes, "There's apparently there's an entity of some sort, artificial or otherwise, that is poisoning the soil. That is poisoning the soil here intentionally."
Intentionally? Or can we?
Well, I wouldn't want to prescribe motive. That was inappropriate, but
Or do we know if this is something that the Cardassians left behind? Do we have a way of determining that?
Yeah, rolls.
That's what we're
I
here
think
to
that's what
find
Voss
out.
is trying to do right now. Yeah, that's what Voss is trying to do right
Boss is like, I'm working on it.
Would I with my knowledge of the shuttle systems, would I know whether it's beneficial to gain some altitude, or can we scan from the ground?
It would be beneficial to gain altitude. I'll just give that to you.
All right.
Yeah, you want to gain some altitude.
I need a pilot here. So whoever flew, was it Jagar?
Yeah, I can do that.
She is an excellent pilot.
Sure. All right. I need 150 meters of altitude, please, and so we can get these scans happening.
All right.
Okay.
And so while they're doing that, I'm just going to climb on top of like a big rock that puts some separation between me and the soil, and just.
Oh, you're staying behind.
They don't need me on the shuttle.
Okay.
Sure, but we need a commanding officer with us. But okay, fine.
You're just gonna stay completely by yourself.
No, there's still those two.
I still got the science officers. I still got the science
that's
officers.
fine.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. So the other two science officers stay.
Yeah.
Or no, it was one other one because Gator. So Gator,
Yeah.
Julian are aboard, and then
No, I said two science officers and two engineers. Gator was the
okay.
second engineer, so I still have two science
I'm
officers.
sorry, you're right. So yeah, you have two science officers with you, and they're just kind of they're taking they're doing like really sciencey stuff. They're picking up the samples of the soil. They're kind of doing that stuff. They're even taking like some of the fauna, or pardon me, the flora samples too. They're just doing that kind of thing.
Meanwhile, I've
Just grab a
collected
random
the phasers,
gecko.
and I'm checking their phaser settings to make sure that they're all standard.
So let me switch over to Uvana and Jadzia for a moment with the captain on the bridge. So Jadzia's in the bridge. Jadzia is assisting you. what's going on the bridge right now? By the way, the other ships at this point, Captain, have like sort of asked, like, because we know Hoff is sort of working with them. Hoff is sort of directing the medical ships. The other two, like the supply ships, are sort of awaiting orders and waiting for zones to drop to start offloading what they like. They're sort of trying to schedule where they're gonna land or send shuttles to or transport things to. So they're all in the middle of administration, like scheduling and planning phases.
As I figured. I'll help Uvana and Jedzia as much as I can.
Okay, so Uvana, you're kind of leading this investigation. So what's going on here?
Captain, I recommend we scan more directly underneath the soil and look for anything that could be directly affecting it, and also if there's any sort of metallic or any sort of vehicle at all in the atmosphere that should not be there. I think that's what we should be scanning for.
Let's just say, for the sake of the story, Yolo has actually moved the ship closer to this region where you're seeing.
Okay.
She's moved the ship closer to the region where you're seeing this storm forming, and it's not terribly far from but it's likely not the same thing from what you can gather, because it's far enough away that you're like, how could it be doing two things at once? But you are detecting something. You are detecting some kind of ship, but it must be small, because it's something's going on with it, because you're not quite figuring it out just yet. But anyway, you are detecting a ship in that atmosphere and near that part of the atmosphere. So from there, I'll shut up and let you do what you want to do. If you want to scan, if you want to do what?
Yeah, I think just another closer scan of the.
Okay. Jedzia assists you with this. She's pretty good with sensors. Let me pull her. I got like 50 character sheets open right now. But let me pull up. Can y'all see the DS9 characters? Oh, but y'all can't control them, can you?
No.
Sorry, I will fix that in a minute after I deal with Jedzia. Jedzia is going to assist you. She kind of puts in some programming, and she's like, "Here, this might help us out," because she can see that that's struggling to identify what's in the air, like what the unidentified flying object is. So she goes ahead and she sort of programs something in. Uvana, you're gonna roll an insight science, and so is Jedzia. Actually, Jedzia is gonna do a reason security. I don't know why my volume's up over here. I turned it down all the way. Okay, sweet. So she's gonna roll 1. Let's see. I haven't been telling y'all difficulty, but I do have difficulty set in my mind.
Okay.
Okay, you can tell that it is some kind of small Cardassian vessel. It should not, and according to like what's been written right now about how Cardassia is supposed to exit Bajor, this is technically like illegal or whatever you want to call it. Like according to whatever treaty or agreement whatever that's actually called, the Treaty of Bajor or something like that. Not the Treaty of Bajor, but whatever agreements that you for a fact know that they are in violation for being within the atmosphere of the planet. They can be outside of its atmosphere. They can't be inside of its atmosphere. Period. And
Captain, I am detecting a small Cardassian vessel, and they are in clear violation of the agreement.
Well, who's our security escort? I know there's a ship that was a security escort, right?
Let me find the name of it.
Kyoto? No.
No, it's the Nandi.
Hold on. I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to invent it. Do you have a captain name for Nandi?
No.
Or do you? Okay.
You can invent one.
He hits his comm badge and goes, Captain Beers to Captain Norris.
Captain Norris answers. She's a very Midwestern looking, or very Midwestern sounding, tiny little captain. Mm-hmm. Yeah? How can I help you? I think I'm doing it okay, Midwestern.
Captain Norris, we've detected that there are multiple events happening on Bajor right now, and we've also discovered a small Cardassian ship that's in the
Well,
in
just send its
violation of their
coordinates
treaty.
over, and we'll take care of that little scraggler.
Please do apprehend them. I'd rather not cause an incident in this already chaotic evacuation of theirs.
You got it. Anything else?
Send it. That's all. And he punches in the coordinates to send it over there.
Nandi
Good hunting.
out.
Good hunting, Nandi.
Yeah. And so the Nandi starts to like, they're in the middle of like, they also have supplies, but they seem to like, whatever shuttles are leaving them seem to like break, like there's no more leaving all of a sudden, and they start to move closer to that part of the world, so to speak. So they start to get closer to that, and then she actually contacts you back and says, well, I got him in my crosshairs, but I keep hailing him and nobody's answering, and I'm not detecting a life sign aboard.
Can you tractor it into your shuttle bay?
We'll give it a go. And then she starts to tractor it, and suddenly Jadzia says, oh, tell them to belay that. Tell them to belay that. She's like, stop, tell them to stop. Tell them to stop.
He comes like, stop, Nandi. Nandi, this is Beers. Stop your actions.
And Ivana, you see that the reason, like, it started to basically like get worse at an increasing rate, and and she saw it, and so she caught it really quick, and she told him to stop. But that's what you're seeing on your readouts, is that that's what's happening. It got way worse for a second.
Captain, it seems there's an automated defense mechanism that is increasing the effect.
Do you know if we can? Is there a atmosphere inside the ship?
No.
So it's just an automated probe or some kind?
Essentially.
It's
a good theory.
Using my computer systems focus, I volunteer to try and go down there and see if there's room to actually go aboard.
It's like, yeah, you could get on it, but it has no atmosphere, and it's it seems to have from what, like, and the Nandi reports back to you with more, because they do a few things to see what it does. They kind of run a series of tests after that, because they saw it too. And you can basically, there's no getting into this thing, is the assessment you're getting. There's no getting into it, period.
Gotcha.
That you can figure out. I mean, you could transport into it, that you could do that, but you might suffocate.
Yeah.
Too quick before you can fix the life support.
Lieutenant Ivana, you have experience with computer systems, right?
Yes, Captain.
Can you hack into that and tell me what it is?
I will attempt to.
Okay, so
Buster, is that a... Yeah.
This is actually, I'm gonna make this because I'm gonna make it a control
Control,
science.
okay.
Control science, and this is gonna be a difficulty of 4. This is gonna be a difficulty of 4, and you do have 1 momentum in the pool, unless there was one I didn't count for.
Yeah, I'll use that momentum.
Okay, so you're gonna buy a die then.
Right.
Okay, so roll 3 die, and make sure your focus. Oh, you got it. You're good. Oh no, wait. Sorry, I forgot to roll the ship too. You didn't get it because it was 4. Here, let me find it. Ship, the USS Shran. So we're gonna do. That would be probably on. It's in sensor science. Wait, what? Yeah, it would be sensor science, right? Am I right, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wait.
so
Sensor
Jadzia kind of
science?
steps into, and she tries as well to kind of assist you.
Can I use my command reroll to make them reroll it?
So you can reroll 1 die.
You can roll 1 die, Maiden, so you can roll 1 more.
So play that out. Like,
0.
how do you sort of motivate her?
as she's doing something, as she's kind of doing, and she hits like the wrong thing. He kind of looks over and then like hits one, points at a button, and goes, "That one's flashing. Should that button be flashing?"
And I say,
Captain
damn,
Obvious.
these preset controls. I need to get back to mine. And I set it back to my preferred controls, and I do it again.
Shiv starts
go.
itching on the surface of the planet. He doesn't understand why.
Okay, so you've succeeded, and at this point, and oh, I'm sorry, I've like lost track of my mind what you were doing. Specifically,
Hacking into the probe, or
hacking.
hacking
So,
into
so
this.
you
Hacking
hack
into it,
into it.
yes.
You hack into it, and you are able to like you're good enough at it, and it's you basically you're hacking into it, and you can see its readouts. You can see what's going on with it, and Jadzia kind of helps you interpret it because she's kind of been researching Cardassian systems a lot because she's about to go serve on a Cardassian station.
Mhm.
She's sort of translating what the console things mean for you, and she tells you that what it looks like. She says, "What looks like's going on is this is pre-programmed, and it is depositing into these clouds a compound. It's depositing a compound that's actually mild. It's mildly toxic to Bajorans in small doses, in like 30 parts per million, that kind of thing. But then
Okay.
she notes that though this is building up, she's noting that it's building up, and by the time this storm really hits those areas, it is going to be like it's gonna like basically give them burns, like second, third degree burns if they get enough of it on them, and it's probably essentially about an hour out from getting to that area of the province, because it's in an unpopulated area right now. And then she kind of futzes with a little bit of it, and she tries to enact a couple of commands, but it's like locked out. Like even though you're hacked into the system has somehow been rendered to like not um to not respond to your commands.
Is there potentially a subsystem that defines the actual compound that we could potentially alter the compound
She pulls up sort
itself?
of like a layout of one of these shuttles, these Cardassian shuttles. She pulls out a layout, and she's
Mhm.
kind of y'all start to sort of theorize about where and how it could be working. And after a few scans, I'm just gonna say like y'all kind of spend a few minutes on it. After a few scans, you can tell, like you can see where, yes, like you can see where this challenge is. You can see what's dispensing it, and she finds a way to shut it off, but you're gonna have to directly do it or destroy it. But the problem with destroying the whole thing is it will explode all of that into that cloud. Like the
All right.
rest of it'll just out.
I'm gonna tap into my previous life experience a little bit and say, is there some sort of counter agent we could introduce that would to the where these are being distributed to kind of neutralize the effect overall?
Ivana, you and Dax will need time to research that.
And should we, Captain, I recommend we involve medical personnel as well to assist with that.
And in the meantime, it's going to take longer than the hour it's going to take before this reaches a populated zone. You're saying?
No, this won't take longer. It just depends on how it goes. So basically, y'all can depending. We'll get back to y'all in a second. I'm trying to
Okay.
Mhm.
change the scene. So we're gonna
Okay.
leave
Cool.
you guys there, and for now, I think we'd let. Is everybody cool with taking a 5 minute?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I think this is a
Sure.
good place to do a 5 minute break. So chat, we're gonna take a 5 minute break. Y'all take a 5 minute break too. Go get something to drink. Go get some popcorn, whatever. Yeah. So let's take a quick break, everybody. How about?
To Deep Space Nine in Star Trek Online. Oh my gosh, it was the
Emotional.
most glorious thing ever.
Mhm.
Well, it appears we're all back. So I went back
Yes.
to the normal scene. So with where we left off before the break was y'all had just kind of figured out like what the source of the atmospheric toxin injector is on the aboard the ship with y'all's problem with the storm. But we're gonna go over to the shuttle now. We're gonna go back to the crew in the shuttle. Okay, so y'all are kind of cruising around. With your sensor grid, you're starting to kind of like you're narrowing it down. You're having to triangulate it. Whoever wants to be in charge of the scanning, go ahead and just roll me the let's do reason, or pardon me, insight science, and then for the let me pull up the shuttle.
Is that from the shuttle or from the ship itself? Or
That's from
does it
one
matter?
whichever one of y'all that's on the shuttle that wants
I
to
guess since I'm the
report.
acting science officer at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Roll20 screen looks like it's behind something else at the moment on the stream.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. One second. Why?
It's a Google new tab that's on
Sorry.
top.
Yeah, thanks.
Mhm.
I have to keep it on that specific thing. There we go. So that's over there. And thank you for that correction. Yeah, go ahead. What was it? I said insight science, and then
Reason science, I think.
and then I'm gonna get the bones out. Or yeah, reason science. That's fine. Reason science. And
Do I still have focus because of my medical? But no, this wouldn't be medical. This is just straight up stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can apply. Yeah, you're just scanning for the device itself, which you have an idea. You know what it's distributing already. So you're
Yeah.
looking for the like where is it coming from, basically.
Hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't have a focus then. Okay.
So go ahead. Okay, you already achieved it, but I'm still gonna roll for the thing. Yeah, so you figured out like okay, you've kind of narrowed it down after a few minutes of continuous scanning. So this takes a few minutes. You figure out that it's actually not far from where y'all were earlier. It's about like half a mile from where Shiv would be currently located. And it looks like it's probably disguised as a natural element like a tree or a rock or something.
I'm gonna come to Commander Shiv. Commander Shiv, we have successfully located the source of this phenomenon. Would you like to join us for the next part?
He's down there with 3 hand phasers, all calibrating them, just like with nothing to do, and he's like, sure, that sounds good. Tell Commander Jahar to Joel Ichu.
Much cat, Shiv. Much cat. Yeah, let's get him up here.
Now, Jagar, I hope I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
You need to roll a con control real quick. Just roll
Con and control.
Yes, ma'am. And then
Task roll. Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah. Task
Are we
roll.
teleporting?
No.
2 or 1? 2.
2 or 1. I'm sorry. 2. Yeah, you need to roll 2 die.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll for the ship on this end, or for the. I keep saying ship, the shuttle, or the runabout, whatever.
Is it gonna be bones? I could do it.
Yeah, that's fine. Have it roll. Then roll engines con. Dark.
Engine's gone and 1, right?
Yep. Okay, y'all actually get a momentum for that. You sense that something was like basically a shot was shot, like it tried to shoot you, whatever it was. It actually, and so Shiv, you see this. You actually see this, like it basically shot off what would essentially be like I can't remember if they use disruptors or phasers, Cardassians, but you saw like a tree shoot a beam toward them, but she was able to compensate. And it's not very far from you. It's like half a mile. It's a jog away.
Oh, hey, Buster, Pretzel Rocks is still going in the background.
Oh, thank you. God, I'm such a mess today. I'm sorry, chat. It's not
So I
hot.
just saw a tree fire a yellow Cardassian disruptor up at the
Yep.
shuttlecraft.
Yeah. Like you could
But we
sprint to it and get
dodged.
there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all. You saw it coming and you moved.
Then I'm just gonna beam me up quickly. There's nature to be destroyed.
And then just, I'm not going to make y'all roll for that. Just take a power off. It should be at 3 power now to beam him up.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 science officers.
Oh, yeah, that's 1 power for all of you. So y'all reduce to a power, and y'all are bored now. It's kind of crowded a little bit, but it's not too bad because it's medical, so it's kind of have a little bit of space to the back of it.
Who's at the con? Who's piloting?
Shigar.
All right. Then yeah, there's some. Just is there somebody at in the tactical station?
No.
No.
All right. Then I'll slide into the tactical station and use my Starship weapon systems to get a target lock on the tree.
Okay. You're able to do it. They have the coordinates already, so they know where it is. So you don't have to roll to establish the lock.
It's a tree.
You do have to roll. I would say security. What's the attributes? Control security to fire if you're going to fire.
Control security. What else do I click besides that?
You remember the Starship task roll off to the side?
Yep.
Make sure it has a 2 on it. Do
2?
you have any relevant focus to this kind of?
I have Starship weapon systems.
Yep, that works. Make sure you click that yes on focus use, and then hit that delta.
Do I do anything for complication range?
Yeah, put your complication range at 4.
Ooh.
Oh.
So complication range at 4. Focus use yes. Task roll 2.
Yes, sir.
And then click the delta.
Yep.
Woo.
All right, and I'm gonna. Did somebody roll for the ship? Yeah. Okay, you succeeded. You've damaged it, but it's not destroyed.
That was the previous one. That
was
was
the previous
just
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Then I'll roll the ship. I have it already selected.
okay.
Oh, okay. So
Ooh.
you do suffer a
Why did I open my
complication.
mouth?
I'm gonna buy a couple of my own threat right now with 2 of those complications. So now I'm up to like 6 threat. But you guys have, what do you call it? The complication that you immediately see though is it's leaking. Like you are seeing an increase. One of your science officers aboard, or Darj, whoever wants to do it, is basically immediately seeing an increase in the rate of damage happening to the soil.
Oof.
All right.
Looks like that wasn't the correct move, sir.
I'm just gonna look back and be like Gatorade.
Yeah, he's fine
Shib
now,
to
by the way.
Shran. I'm sorry, what?
By the way, he's fine now. He's back to normal. Gator.
Commander Shiv to Shran, come in.
This is Captain Beers.
The false tree the false tree that seems to be the source of the contagion has increased its spread. Tell me the science nerds up there have something to help us, because phasers don't seem to do the trick.
Commander, did you try to shoot a tree and it caused more of it to spread? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, but per standard engagement protocols, we were fired upon first, so we were merely returning engagement.
Okay, that's
And
so
as
tree
it was
shot you.
stationary, we assumed we had superior tactical positioning.
Ivana, you can just see from just the constant scans and sensor scans that are happening, you can see what he's talking about by this point, and you actually are seeing that it's a very similar device to what y'all are dealing with. It's just that it's like it's almost like a what do you call it? Like a mining inject. Like it's something that's like it's like something's been mined. Like it's been mined out below it, and it's sort of like injecting. But it's like literally this. It's a very similar device. It's just designed for terrain.
So did we actually destroy it, or did it take?
It's
Did it take
no,
on
it's damaged. It's not destroyed.
Shran suspects that the shuttle was not on default settings since his targeting
Shiv.
and acts were fine. It was the shuttle that fell short.
Mm.
So he's
Can we-
making a
can we
note about
determine the-
maintenance later on.
Can we determine if these things are shielded?
That one is not. The one that you have to deal with is.
Is it possible to use the ship transporters to like transport it away in any way? The tree?
Yes. Yes, it is. But obviously it's releasing a contaminant, so
Right.
probably some procedures there that you want to deal with.
Beam it away to space.
Right. That's either that, or if we need to study it, we can move it onto a shuttle, an empty
Yeah.
shuttle.
He disabled the shuttle.
Perhaps.
Pardon me. He disabled its shields.
Okay.
I didn't make
We
you roll
could beam it
damage,
into
but-
we could beam it into an isolation room for study. Just prepare like an isolation ward. I'm sure we have something like that where it's designed for outbreaks and such to prevent from spreading.
It's
to
small
other-
enough that you could do that. You could definitely put it aboard the ship. It would be an awkward. It would have to go in like a cargo bay because it is like obviously it's an awkward shape and size for most decks. Period. So it would have to go into a cargo bay. But you would need
And if it
like
keeps firing, that could be a
5
problem.
minutes to prep the cargo bay, and the clock is ticking.
Yeah, as I'm hearing this conversation, I am going to remind the captain that the thing is disruptor capable, and that
Yeah.
beaming it inside the ship, inside of our shields, may not be the
Well, don't our
may not
shield-
be any more tactically sound than firing upon it.
Don't our transporters have the ability to turn off weapons
Yes.
arrays in the middle of transport?
hand weapons? I don't know if it's like a ship-based weapon because this.
You can take the risk or not. That's up to y'all.
Can't we
Well,
just
the
put a
risk.
force field around this thing?
Yeah. My recommendation would be to beam it out into space and then photon
Deal
torpedo
with it later.
Yeah.
I have to agree. You guys have transporters. You can probably beam it yourself from the ship. You know.
I'm just going to look at Voss and be like,
Mm.
do we?
Good question. We have personal transporters, like just behind the pilot seats. Do we have transporters big enough? And I just start doing mental arithmetics in my head. If we transfer power from non-essential systems, I believe we should be able to teleport something of that size and mass up into space. Just give me a minute. And I start
You can also,
reconfiguring.
I want to remind everybody real quick. Sorry to interrupt you, Darsh. I do want to remind everybody you can spend momentum to obtain information from me once in a while. I probably should have said that.
Oh,
earlier,
okay.
But that is
Yeah,
some
I forgot about
momentum spend you can use at any time. It's an immediate. So
Yeah. My suggestion is going to be to use our transporter lock. You know, we're right here. We can get a higher resolution lock, but to transfer that information up to the ship and have the ship using its full
Power.
transporter might to grab this thing and throw it into
I'm only-
space.
I'm only worried about something that's like it's more of a technical thing with this RPG, which is power, which we haven't really been monitoring.
your
too
ship has
much.
15 power.
Yeah, but we're dealing with multiple like
That's fair.
cataclysmic events
Yeah, I
at
would
once.
say like dealing with what you've been dealing with, like the transports that have been happening, like on
Yeah.
and off the ship. Yeah, like out of 15 power, you're probably at the moment down to like 8
Yeah.
with everything you've been doing. So reduce.
but
transport.
if-
Either way, I would trust the Starship's power reserve more than the shuttlecraft.
This is true. We only
Alright.
have 3 more power for the shuttlecraft.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, happy to
let's,
do the targeting. We're right here.
Yep, we
But we'll
could
send
do.
that information up.
Well, hopefully with your assist, I can get to the transporter room. So, here's the transporter room.
Transporter here.
I need you to beam that tree into space,
Any specific spot in space, sir?
away from the as far away as you can get it, and away from any trade lanes.
So
I want this thing to be
transporter thief
isolated.
kind of looks at what you're doing. Is this this looks like Cardassian technology? Would you like to return it to it's the store it was bought from, so to speak?
Please.
Shiv's gonna bug. I guess. Goldicott's ready room is already painted and on your captain's console.
So
Not
you're
Goldicott's ready room.
Okay.
But definitely amongst those ships. Return to sender, please. Their transporter room.
all right.
Return to sender.
So that's what happens is it gets beamed to like where a group of Cardassian warships is, if that's what you want to do.
Yes.
Okay.
And as the beam is
start
happening,
shooting the Cardassian ships.
No, as its beams, before the beam's over, I'm going to make one more call to Goldicott.
Okay. He appears. Captain.
Goldicott. Oh, it's good to see you again. You see, sir, we found some material of yours which you seem to have left behind. My crew is currently going to return it to you, as I'm sure you very likely would like to have any of this highly classified Cardassian technology returned back to you and back to the people who paid for it. So, just giving you a heads up. Might be a little volatile. Beer's out. Hangs up. Beam it.
Yeah, he has no chance to respond. And then, like I said, a moment later, y'all see that thing is going wild, because right before it beamed away, it was about to start attacking the shuttle again. Like the beam, like you could
was recharging.
read out that the weapons were powering back up, because the weapons were somewhat damaged, but they like automatically like kind of they're like redundant. They fix themselves. And so it's just going nuts, and it's shooting all of the Cardassian ships, like all 4 of them that are like kind of in a little formation.
I just watched The Last Starfighter recently, rewatched it, and I'm just like picturing the like death blossom at the end. Like,
From a tree. From a tree. A tree is just death blossoming all over the place.
There's like dirt drifting off of it in space and stuff, And all these Cardassian ships are like, what? Like they seem to be like suddenly like turning around and like, and they're kind of not shooting at it, and then they're shooting at it, and then they're not, and then they are. Like they can't, it looks like it's a mess over there with them. In the meantime, that takes us back to the bridge. So after some more, y'all have taken some time to do some more research. You have found something that can be inserted into the atmosphere to counteract what's going on. The only caveat to it is it's gonna turn that acid rain into basically vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still gonna be acidic, but it's not. But it's gonna be like vinegar mixed with water. So it's gonna smell weird.
It'll be
so it's just
fish and chips for a while.
Yeah, it'll smell weird for a while. Okay.
Like
is there a okay? So here's my plan. First off, I turn to Ivana and I go, Ivana, I want you on aboard a shuttle with this reagent, ready to spread it around the atmosphere. And I turn to Yolo, who I'm sure is still on the bridge, and go, Yolo, you're the best. You're our best pilot, other than me. Get into that ship and go crazy. Be as fast as you can get in there.
I don't know. I mean, that's a big thing to say on this ship, because there are a lot of pilots on this ship that are pretty good.
Yes. You're the only one piloting the ship, Yolo.
Yeah,
so that should tell you how good you are.
Of moving the ship. We have established that. That's why I got hired.
Yes.
Yeah, what's the waiting?
I need you to fly Uvana with a shuttle with this agent, this reagent, this substance to help kill these acid rain. In the meantime, I'm going to contact the local governor, mayor, whoever's in charge down there to try to let them know what's about to happen.
And Captain, you should warn them that quite a few of the Bajorans might start to have green hair. Just let them know.
Will do.
Right.
Yeah,
Hearing
ready
this,
to
I'm
go?
But wait, by the way, you haven't determined in what method you're doing this. So
Oh, I thought we'd already determined it was going to be.
you
I think
can.
we
There's multiple approaches. I want to hear from Uvana what she would like to do. If there's anything in particular you had
Okay.
in mind when you envision this.
lasers.
As far as a dispersal method from the
Yeah,
shuttle,
if there's anything you had in mind in particular.
the shuttle only has phaser capability, correct?
It has phaser and mini torpedoes.
Also has the
Mini
Bazaar
torps,
collectors.
okay.
So in theory, you could
Yeah.
there's maybe a way. I would say it's more complicated to do it with phasers than it is to like maybe modulate some torpedoes.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And there's other ways you could do it. It's just kind of what you prefer. Like,
They are
So
high yield torpedoes too.
yes, they are even with minis.
So I set about preparing some special fireworks from the torpedoes to handle this.
Because I assume that we'd have to be in the atmosphere, right? We couldn't do this from.
Yeah, you
from
have to
orbit.
do it in atmosphere, or at least deliver those
Okay.
torpedoes, the payload, to atmosphere.
I mean, technically, we can land the ship, right?
Yes, you can.
You probably
absolutely
want to be in
can.
high at least up a few kilometers up to successfully.
But you are going to be on Bajor for a while, and it probably expected that you would land the ship for at least some time, especially after as more Federation presence comes in, which you have. You have like 4 support ships who are already working, but the frigate,
Mhm.
of course, is just kind of. It's also a New Orleans class. It's kind of chilling, like with Captain Norris. She's on the
Mhm.
Nandi. She's kind of at ready, but she's continued what she was doing.
In this party line, I'm just gonna inject Captain Beers. I'm uncomfortable having so many of the senior bridge staff away from the ship at the same time. Can this wait until what shuttle are we on?
The bones.
The bones.
Can this wait until the bones rejoins with the ship, or does this
Can
need
it?
to happen immediately?
Because last I heard, it was like we
It's
had like
about
30
20
minutes.
to 30 minutes, and yeah, y'all have about that to the amount of time to get this done.
Let's do it.
Or how long is it going to take them to get back to the
Jakar,
ship?
you
is
could
the question.
roll. You could roll, and we can see if you get there faster.
Yeah, I'm gonna just look at Jagar and be like, with
I
all
have-
speed.
Would this be like a daring? What do you want me to roll here?
Yeah, do a daring. That's a good idea. A daring con.
Daring con.
Yeah.
Task roll 2. I do have a survival focus. Which
Well, you have extracurricular extra.
that's right, extra vehicular
Yeah, you have
activities.
a focus. Anytime you pilot this, generally you're gonna have that focus applied.
Okay.
So yes, you can go ahead and
Extra
roll.
vehicular means outside of a vehicle, not extra
Yeah.
vehicles.
That was the
We mean it as it's a joke, as in she flies many things.
Okay, gotcha.
And then while she's doing that, I'm going to ask Lieutenant Uvana, what is your Starship weapons system proficiency? Are you comfortable modifying the torpedoes as needed?
I got that. I can do it. You don't know her. I mean, she can guide me. She's a boss in this situation.
Like YOLO's just jumping on.
YOLO is an ensign, right?
We could actually switch spots.
YOLO's an ensign, but she is she generally works 2 shifts out of 3.
Yeah.
Well, I guess out of
I got
4
it.
now. She works 2 shifts out of 4, and she actually does her main shift. When she's on shift Alpha, she's on the bridge, but she also does shifts in engineering because she's just a really talented engineer.
I will cut off YOLO and go, YOLO. Uvana is your superior officer. You will listen to her and let her guide it. You understand?
To me, I was saying I could do the grunt work. She just tell me what to do.
She's
Okay.
got Starship weapon systems for the focus.
That's actually a really good question. Let me.
That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to get at. Does
Yeah.
anybody on that shuttle
I would think
actually have
Yola
the
would.
On the
bonus
shuttle.
focus necessary?
So you're talking
Help
about because I thought we were gonna wait. We're waiting for y'all to come back, and then
Yeah,
we're going
but
to load the torpedoes.
I see
onto
what you're
your-
saying. You're saying whether we
I
should.
don't want to
wait
burn
for
off the
you.
atmosphere of Bajor
Yeah.
because we fail
Yeah.
firing at torpedoes.
She has reverse engineering, which would be the closest, but no dice. No dice in
All
this
right.
situation. So yeah.
Then while we're doing this, I don't know if he's doing it, but while we're doing this strangers in the night thing, coming, I'm gonna suggest a shuttle to shuttle transfer because I have the Starship weapon systems and all the tactical training.
Yeah, and you have the ability to create the anti-contaminant aboard.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna do what Ivana tells me to do, but I'm gonna make sure that the torpedoes don't explode and burn off the atmosphere.
Okay.
There we go.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, now I get what you're trying to say. Okay, sorry, it took me a second to get to speed.
I'm saying she's a science officer, Yolo's a pilot. I'm like, but we're talking about altering a tactical
Weapons.
weapon.
Yeah.
to
Got it.
I'm like,
deal
who's
with
got that
atmospheric
experience?
Conditions.
So
Yeah, okay.
we'll beam you aboard.
Yeah, you can beam
aboard
him. Yeah.
Yeah. So while one shuttle's going back to the atmosphere, and
Yeah.
one shuttle's going back to the ship,
Yeah.
I'll just beam over
Hmm.
while they're in the closest
Yeah.
Right.
point.
All right. So you just beam over.
Yeah.
So the three, they get loaded up in the shuttle, and then they start to head off, and you get beamed over to their shuttle. You get transferred. So, it's Ivana, Yolo's.
There'll
pilot.
be one power from the bones to instead of the other shuttle, so they're
and
full
y'all are
if they need it.
returning. Yeah, y'all are returning anyway. So,
Yeah.
So the three of you now are on this other shuttle.
All right. So I'm gonna go to the torpedo locker, basically pull the hatch down, pull out a torpedo, look at Ivana, and be like, "Tell me what we're doing."
Yeah, Ivana, you've basically brought aboard like a case or two of like the appropriate amount that you would need. You need to spread this over about 5 mini torpedoes. And so you brought like several, you brought an appropriate amount to be filled and an extra just in case like somebody screws up something. But so first I think we're going to do, this is going to be cool. We're going to do an extended task for this. So the three of you are working in unison. I'm going to say the leader of this. Who do you think out of the three of these characters would be the leader of executing the action?
Ivana would be the leader of this. I'm here as safety and to make sure they don't explode the wrong way.
So this is going to have this is going to
So-
have a magnet. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I keep interrupting y'all. I'm sorry.
I was gonna suggest I do have leadership as a focus, so I could use that.
Yes,
I
you
believe
will absolutely
in
use
this-
that as a focus in this.
And would this be a presence for the role? Or my initial role,
because
anyway?
y'all are basically doing the work now. Y'all are doing the work of, it's going to take y'all like 15 minutes to get to where you're going, which you would have like still to have 10 minutes to spare after 15 minutes, but it's going to take you 15 minutes to get there. So you're going to try to attempt, this is going to be a timed this is going to be a time task basically. And what you're going to be trying to do is getting this done within the 15 minutes it's going to take you to get there from him beaming over. So, Ivana, go ahead. Let's see. Let's go ahead with this first part. I think is going to be an insight science, or reason science. Pardon me, reason science. Because you have to execute, but you're gonna do it.
And complication range?
The complication range is going to be 5.
Okay. And
And then after
focus used?
the focus used, yes, your focus is used now. Jared, I would like you to set up a roll. You're gonna roll it after her. You're gonna set up a roll for control security, because it is something that it's a torpedo.
Okay.
And you're only gonna roll 1 die because you're assisting.
All right, so task roll 1. What's the complication range?
It's the same 5.
But you do have the focus.
Yeah.
And let me actually pull my book out real quick. I do need to grab my book wherever it is because I do need to have the rules for time tasks.
Got a 2.
What did Uvana get?
A 1 and a 0.
Okay, let me 1 second. Let me pull this out. Basic operations. Nope. Nope. 1 second, y'all. I want to have this in front of me. I just want this in front of me so that I can do this correctly. Here we go. Okay. Game Master determines the number of intervals that the challenge must be completed. So we're going to say this needs to be completed in 5 intervals. And then each interval represents time. So it's just a couple, it's like 3 minutes apiece if it's 15 minutes total. And the key task is getting this accomplished. Each task attempted takes 2 intervals of time. Okay, wait. Involved in the challenge with a smaller number of intervals, resulting in pressure on the characters. The game master should determine what happens when the time runs out. So obviously we know what happens if time totally runs out. So let me see what y'all got. Again, let me look at the. I may do the flub this. So y'all completed an interval. Roll each of those again. Like y'all are successful. So a complication has occurred, but I'm gonna save it for now. So you didn't succeed at all because she failed. Go ahead again. Success. You've accomplished 2 intervals now. With 1 complication so far. Go ahead again.
Cool.
Success in that case. But you do have a complication. And then go again. Okay, so now you're in overtime. Essentially. Sorry,
If you said 3 minutes per, that's only 12 minutes pass.
Oh, then go one more
with
time.
4.
One more time.
Yeah.
2 failed. 1 out of 4. 2 out of 4 have failed.
2 out of 4? I thought only 1 out of 4.
Well, two had complications, 1 failed. So
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 succeeded but had a complication. One had 1 fail. I
Oh,
thought.
yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
that looks like a fail then.
Yeah, so y'all are going to need a couple more successes here to get this done.
Do we still have 1 momentum left, or has that been used?
If there was 1 still left, you should still have it.
Yeah,
You
I don't
also
think
have
anyone's used it.
determination. I want to remind you do have determination. You can use that to have an automatic 2 added to whatever you roll.
But you have to what's the word?
Can I use supervisor from afar? Like to cheer them on?
Yes, you can. So
Yeah.
you can actually. Why don't you have Maiden re-roll her last one, if that's what you want to do? How do you play
What
it
do you
out?
say to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it just like, come on, Uvana, I know you've got this. Like, give it all you've got. That's gonna be.
I'm trying.
Okay, you got it. So that saved you a bad interval. So
Nice.
So you get to this point where you have only a few minutes to spare, and you're almost there. You're very close.
What does pack tactics do? I have
It's
that.
just a focus, and if you're working as a team, it kind of can apply here. So go ahead and apply the focus.
But
Yeah,
he's already using a focus.
You can't double. You can't stack focuses.
Well, that's a talent. It's not a focus.
What's your pack tactics? It's on the back of your sheet.
On the back of my sheet.
Pardon me, on the tab of the bio info tab of your sheet. And don't sleep on y'all's talents.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking through right now because
I don't know what
Oh,
I'm looking
good.
for.
no.
Here, Shiv.
I have dedicated focus as well. I don't know.
Bioinfo. Yeah, here we go. It's under your talents. When you go, like when you're looking at the top of your character sheet, you can tab over to bioinfo at the top. You pack tactics. Whenever you assist another character during combat, the character gains 1 bonus momentum if they succeed. So you basically have a full track of momentum now. We'll just call it like even. But she succeeded several times with your assistance.
Yeah.
So let's just call it like 4 momentum. I don't want to go back and calculate.
So that give her 4 extra dice.
Potential. Well, for the entire team
I
to use.
believe you could only, like, say you have a full track, right? You can
Mhm.
only buy 3 total momentum 3 total die with all 6 momentum.
Sure. Well, I mean, I've succeeded on mine, so let's give her. Let's give Ivana all the
So
momentum.
Ivana, just
And-
roll 3 die.
I do have
Whoa.
dedicated focus, and looking at that too, it's each d20 that generates 2 successes also generates 1 bonus momentum.
Yeah, so you're full track. Then you can
Oh.
buy all 3 momentum. You can buy all 3 die.
The good thing about these prolonged tasks,
Okay.
you could do more momentum if you disperse them through
Yeah.
each. So it's only 3 if you spend all momentum on a single roll to add 3 die. But if you spread it out, you could do more potentially.
Right.
So this next roll, I'm doing 5 die. Is that right?
You'll be doing 3. Do 3.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
Well,
You're okay.
I misunderstood that.
no, she could.
Sorry.
She could if
She could
she
do
wanted
5
to,
die.
because we have full momentum.
But the momentum isn't just, it's like the first die costs 1, the second die
Oh, yeah.
costs 2.
Die
the
costs
third-
2.
Sure, but three extra, not just 3 total.
I don't understand.
Well, if you're spending all 6 momentum to add 3 die, she could roll 5 die instead of just 2.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Roll 2
So are
more.
we throwing out that? I just rolled 3, but are we throwing that out?
Just do it 2.
Okay.
No, we won't throw it out. It's in play.
Wait, throw 2 more or throw
Yeah,
a
just
new throw
2
of
more.
5?
Yeah, just a 2. roll.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry.
I got no idea what's happening.
Okay. So,
Oh my
Oh
god.
no!
so, okay, this is what's going on. Is you were able to get 3 of those done, but the other 2 have been a failure. Now, depending on what now this is the risk here is because you weren't able to create as many as you needed, the damage that would result as like those torpedoes exploding could make or break this. So that could, the 3 torpedoes could compensate for all 5 is what I'm saying, if the damage is good. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So-
Is there anyone that can potentially adjust the location of the 3 as we explode them?
Yeah, they can guide out, like, basically the way a torpedo would work is you could time, like, you could shoot it in a direction and you could time its detonation. So that would be on Shiv. Shiv's going to be the
Yeah.
guy that specializes in
Yeah.
that. So Shiv, you have approximately 5 to about 7 minutes to get this figured out with only 3 torpedoes.
Could I feasibly? I have follow my lead,
Mm-hmm.
which basically means that if I can use it once per task, and if I do, I choose an ally, and the next task it basically counts as having assistance from me
Mm-hmm.
using presence and command.
So
But wouldn't you have to be there though?
Do I have to be there for that?
in this situation, y'all are kind of like all working over comms as a team. I'm gonna allow it because you are like
Yeah.
you can basically give him. We can play this like you're giving him. You're up on the ship with Jadzia, sort of scanning what's going on, and y'all are sort of figuring out the most optimal places for these.
Yeah. Well, I've got a fire at will talent too, which specifically helps me with targeting multiple
Okay.
stuff. I don't know how it helps.
But that's how we'll play that. Is he will essentially get a free assist from you with.
We're just gonna teleport Will Riker into the atmosphere, so you can choose him specifically. So it'll be a or
Well,
accurate.
like we can do that, or do you want to try fire at will, or can we combine them?
You can.
Well, I don't know how
try.
fire at will works, so somebody's got to explain to me how fire at will
Okay,
works.
let's look at your
look
fire
at
at
it.
will. Let me look at your sheet.
Or will we?
I have it described on
Mm.
the back of your sheet. Pardon me, on the bio and info tab. So fire at will, the character is capable of tracking multiple targets and making attacks against them with great effect. Whenever the character makes a ranged weapon attack and then uses the swift task momentum spend to make a second ranged attack, they ignore the difficulty increase from the swift task. It's not really that relevant here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can read the thing. I still don't know what it means.
But
I don't
you're-
know what a swift task is. I don't know it.
No, it's okay.
that's-
But you have
that's what I'm saying.
bold. You have bold security. Whenever you attempt a task with security, you buy one or more d20s by adding to threat. So you may give me threat and add d20s to your roll.
And all that threat is that it's basically her momentum, so she can use them to re-roll things to screw us over if she wanted to.
And you can
That's-
also
that's what
wait
that
and
is.
re-roll a d20 too.
Sure.
So do you want to? Yeah. Okay. So
Uh,
you in particular. So okay, Jigar. How do you play this out? Like you get this information with Jadzia. Jadzia like says, "Oh, I figured out optimal places to do this," and you and her kind of console it out for a second, and you basically are able to relay this to Shiv.
Yeah, I think that I can provide a little assist here, and go ahead and it looks like I roll to.
You don't need a roll.
Roll
You
distance?
just you can give you can basically give like you give him specific coordinates.
Yeah,
to
I
detonate
haven't-
these.
Gotcha.
and you've given me an updated firing solution based on 3 torpedoes instead of 5.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're actually also able, if it takes a second long, like if it takes them a minute to get within range, you actually are tracking it. You and Jadzia are tracking it in a way that it's like it's literally moving. It's like he's getting like the coordinates, like it's moving and it's telling it like it's like a Doppler radar. It's just basically marked where to shoot it. It's going to be on the timing with him. It's going to be mostly
Right.
the timing.
I have a presence of 10 and a command of 5, so
Go ahead and roll a die just real quick with those two. And put a
Use-
focus in, because this you
put a
know you
focus. Okay.
yeah. Okay, so he gets so you already have one success to count to what you're doing. Jared. So Shiv, go ahead and roll security, like what is it? Control security.
Control security. And what does determination do?
Determination will add 2 points of success to what you're doing automatically.
Yeah.
And you have
So
one
determination
for
just-
every
yeah.
episode. Every episode you start with 1.
All
But
right,
you
well,
need to justify it from your values.
Yeah, you need to exactly.
I'm trying not to burn off the atmosphere of a goddamn planet.
Well, one of
Well,
your
what are your
values-
values?
No, I'll help him. I got his sheet.
Hey man, he's friends with me.
That's fair.
I have
actually.
never backed down as a value.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also have a value that reflects like you don't trust Cardassians too. That could kind of apply because you are shooting something of theirs down, or you're dealing with something that's dispersing. So either way, you can apply a value in that case. You have that value to apply, so that's what's allowing you to use this determination.
Okay, and because I'm a veteran, whenever I spend a point of determination, I roll 1. If an effect is rolled, immediately regain that spent point. Oh, that happens afterwards. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if I'm using my determination, what do I click on the dice roller now?
Nothing fancy anymore. Are you going to use your bold talent, by the way, where you get an extra d20?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use everything I got to make it succeed.
So go ahead and click the
Yeah.
3 on Starship task roll, and then the complication range is still it's like a 5. But it's a 4 actually. It's a 4 at this point. And then I'm just trying to look.
A 1 would be a critical automatically, or is it separate?
A critical
Can he
success.
spend-
A 1 is a critical
Yeah.
success. A 20 is.
Yeah, but I mean, because he's just spending his determination, would he have to roll and spend his determination?
I don't think he has to roll because he's spending his determination to automatically succeed.
No, it's not an
It's
auto
not-
succeed though.
And it's an
like
auto
he
crit.
has one success already. He's going to add 2 success with the determination. So he needs to achieve 2 more successes.
Oh, for a total of 5.
Yes.
Yes.
So he's going to roll
Okay.
3 die with a complication range of 4.
Got it.
Okay. So go ahead and hit your die. And I also need to roll for, or somebody needs to roll for bones too.
Bones isn't
Yeah,
there.
bones.
Or
It's
one
not.
of-
Yeah, it's. Which one would this be then? This would have been. I assume the let's just say it was the Mabenga.
yeah. So you successfully have hit this. Or you
What is
successfully
the
hit your marks. Oh, what was that? The Mbenga. It
is the
doesn't
moment-
matter. At a certain point, the shuttles are all like kind of. There's
I
like
know-
aggressive
No, but
shuttles.
what do I need to roll on that
Go
for
go-
assist?
Y'all probably would have come out. I'm sorry. It takes me. I'm trying to do a lot of
Yeah.
mental gymnastics.
I get it.
Y'all would probably actually be in rubber. No, y'all would probably be in thunder or ice storm, most likely.
Okay, because
So
it's
that's
got
a
the
defensive
torpedo
shuttle.
base.
It's a defensive.
Yeah.
It's a defensive shuttle.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll its damage for me.
It's damage or it's weapons?
Oh, it's weapons first.
Yeah, because you're the test, right? The weapons.
yeah.
Is it weapons security? Weapons command?
Yeah, weapons security.
Okay, so for the assist,
You still
Is this nothing?
succeeded. But now what you need to do is roll the damage. You need to roll 3
How much?
dies of damage. So hit the torpedoes.
micro torpedoes.
Hit those torpedoes 3 times. Ooh.
Oh, I know. With this, I remember this one. It's not actually because it's adding the weapons value to it. If it's 3, you set it to 0, and then and when you roll it, it should end up being
Anyway.
3, right?
What? Yeah. Why did it change from that? Why did
I changed it because you said is it supposed to be 3 dice? Because
Yes.
that rolled
Yes.
it rolled. If it's supposed to be 3 dice, you put it 0 on it.
No,
Because
it's
what you're
supposed to have
doing
6
is you're
total
adding
die. It's supposed to have 6 total
6 total die.
Yes.
Okay,
So
never mind. So that's 1.
Junk that one. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 more times.
Yeah. Make sure you hit enter after you've entered that number. Okay. Go and key in one more time. Okay, for each roll, you got 3 deltas, which engage the high yield. So you
Okay.
succeeded. You have succeeded. You start to see like these clouds; they kind of change color. You have dealt with this, but the thing is y'all did hit a complication in the process of dealing with it. And the thing is it's still it worked. It's gonna reduce the amount of damage. Like it's like I said, it's like vinegar and water. However, you still like the shuttle that's doing this starts to move on to go do this same crap somewhere else. So that's a
Okay.
complication you have to deal with. Is you're going to have to eventually deal with that shuttle. So it is going to go do damage somewhere else, and it's beamed off and away. But
Okay.
here's the thing. Oh, go ahead. Chip.
I need to roll 1 to see if I get my determination back.
Yeah, roll the.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do I?
Uh,
what do I do?
So you go.
It's a challenge die. So
It's a challenge dice.
So
You
you
just
see
put one-
this- Yeah, just put a 1 in
sorry.
and hit enter, and then hit the delta.
The
Try
other one,
again.
yeah.
It's lagging. There you go. You're good. You got it.
So I got my determination back.
You got it. You got a delta, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. So you get your determination back, so you can use it again this round or this session.
It's the
if you need
session.
to.
Which, speaking of, we've been at it for about 2 hours, 15 minutes or so with the actual gameplay. So I am going to start like rounding this up or wrapping this episode up. So you ended up, what you did with the soil thing was you actually, saying that thing's goal would have been like of doing the soil damage was like 100%, right? Y'all were able to reduce the damage it would have total done by 50%. So you
Okay.
you've essentially you've made it half as bad as it could have been. With the of course with the cloud, we know how that went. Like you succeeded just barely. You made it in the nick of time, but it's that thing is going off to do other damage. So that is either going to have to be there's going to be further work to deal with that thing. And And then all these other ships, they've been doing their work. They've been getting people to and from Bajor. At the end of the, like, kind of toward the end of the session, or after you've done all this, right after this goes off, a few, like, probably 10 minutes after this whole cloud thing happens, you get a hail from Major Kira. Or Major Noreen. Or, yeah, Major Kira.
Am I back on the ship now?
Yeah, y'all
Oh, yeah.
got in the ship
Yeah.
again. Yeah, y'all are
Okay.
back. Sorry. This is like kind of the falling action. Y'all gotten back into the ship and you're back aboard.
Captain, we're receiving a hail from Major Kira on Bajor.
On screen.
Beep beep.
And she just sighs. She's like, well, I guess we have you to thank for dealing with the problem in the Rakantha sector, or in the Rakantha province. Pardon me.
Pleasure to help.
I mean, it would have been nicer if you could have just gotten rid of that completely a lot quicker, but I'm not going to hold it against you today. And then she kind of moves on, and now one of the provinces is apparently smelling a little off because there was something in the clouds, apparently. And she asked for an explanation of what happened there.
I will give her just a very brief.
Yeah, you
The
give her a rundown.
Cardassians left a present for you, something that was producing toxic, acidic rain that was about to go over a very populated area. We acted as best we could, managed to neutralize the area. Unfortunately, some Bajorans will have green hair and smell a little funny for a bit, but it should stop for now. The machine that did cause this did manage to escape. We're still trying to track it down.
Yeah, she just kind of leans forward, on her where she's sitting, and she sighs again. But this is more of a sigh of relief. And then she just kind of looks at the the camera, or the camera source for her, and she just says, "If I could go the rest of my life without a Bajoran gift, or pardon me, a Cardassian gift, I think I would consider myself a rich person." And she looks tired. She looks so beat and tired. She's been dealing all day with everything and all of y'all. Like, she's been corresponding, from what you understand from the other ships. They've been actually, a lot of the coordination has been through her. Of, like, one of the ships has actually landed and is actually in that same province where it was super. This is her, like, this is me, like, kind of blowing through what she's briefing you on. But she ends up telling you that the let me look at the name of it. That the Phlox landed and is restoring, is basically setting up like a field hospital. And they have they've offloaded a bunch of stuff and things. And she just essentially is like, it's going, but she seems to still be bothered by the fact that there's a bunch of Federation people that or pardon me, like a bunch of Starfleet people are just all over the place, just doing so. You can even see some in the background of her shot that are like doing various things and working with various Bajorans. She after a few minutes of like briefing, kind of giving you the rundown, because she understands, she's realized that you are sort of the master coordinator here of Starfleet's efforts. She finally just says, "Well, at the very least, you're all invited to come down to wherever, I can't remember the capital of Bajor, but everybody's kind of, a lot of people are gathering, and we just need some hope over here, Captain. And some of these people are getting together, and they're making food, and they're doing things. They're just doing something to feel normal again. Some of them are too young to have known including me, to have ever known what normal is."
That would be the city of Ashala, by the way.
Ashala. So there's people getting together, and like everybody's kind of gathering. Many people are gathering in Ashala. That's what she says.
We would love to come down to Ashala. We can bring our own doctors, psychiatrists. We even have a barber.
I will clear a
needs a
landing
haircut.
zone in Ashala if you want to land.
Just letting you know, the Shran is a fairly large ship, so
I'm aware. I was, and she basically, she pulls up like a map over, like almost like a screen share, And she points out like which sector, like it's not far off. Like there's actually there's like an old arena that the Bajor, I mean the Cardassians probably use for all of the worst things, but there's like an old like arena style type place that is big enough to land the Shran and also base operations out of for the Shran if you want to be landing for a while. So it's up to you.
Yeah, I figured that'd be a good idea.
While this is happening, I feel like looking at the values of Shiv here, if that ship got away, if that shell got away, it's literally a violation of all 4 of his stated values there. He would not be able to let that lie. So if he was forced to come back to the ship, like if that was like the order to come back to the ship, like while Beers is having this conversation, he's going to see detailed tactical information on where that shuttle is now, a flight path for the Shran to intercept it.
Jadzia provides all of that to you because she and Ivana tracked all that down earlier. So she had because Ivana hacked into it and Jadzia has maintained that connection. It's just that the whole time she's been trying to break into commanding it. It's just not. She can look at it, she can read it, she just can't affect it yet.
Yeah. So while Beers is having this conversation, just on his little panel, there's just going to be like a text readout, like here's where it is, here's a firing solution. Don't forget we have to go blow. Like just that's all Shiv's gonna do. He knows his place. He's not gonna interrupt the conversation, but he's going to be subtly reminding Beers that there's a threat out there that needs to be neutralized.
And one of Ivana's values is study as she goes. And even though the past very recent failures of attempting to do this, she's already forgotten them and is nodding to Shiv like, yeah, let's get this done. So.
Yeah, it's like it's a whole thing. It's like using the ship's photon torpedoes, like the full ship, not a shuttlecraft. It's like you're seeing a readout. Like this is everything that went wrong with the shuttlecraft. It clearly wasn't in default settings. We'll talk about that later. But here's how to take it out with the Shran, and you can even swing right past it on your way to fucking capital city.
In fact, during all this, Kira says, "So were you able to take out the shuttle?" To Captain Beers.
You've got the answer, like all there on your.
She looks at you through like she sort of, even though she can still see, she kind of leans over to see like this other person in the background that says it.
Yeah.
And then she starts to look like through like whatever you sent her, and she says, "Oh, okay, I have okay." And then she sends something back to you directly, Shiv, as well as Ivana, because that was like kind of went through her console mostly. Or at least the originals, and she basically has provided you the what's it called when you code something to not be accessed?
Command codes.
What was that?
Encryption.
Yeah. She sends you the encryption that you need to break that and control that. So she's basically sent you the way to decrypt it. And after a couple minutes of futzing around with the two of you in the background while they continue their conversation, you have figured out how to like essentially you can either pilot it off in a way, or you can like pilot. Obviously you don't want to destroy it in atmosphere. You can set it to self-destruct. You can do whatever you want. Like it's at your command now. So Kira helps you with that immediately.
Just set it on a course for the sun.
I'm gonna leave it to Shiv to do what he wants with it because it's kind of his biggest concern.
Yeah.
I'm gonna set up a high level containment field in the cargo bay, and I'm gonna bring in because this may not be the only one of these that we encounter.
Fair.
And keep it for further study by the science nerds.
All right. Well, and that's over time. That's what y'all do. It takes y'all a little while, but to continue to finish the conversation, Kira says, the whole we just need some hope down here. And while I'm not exactly happy, I'm not exactly thrilled to see you Starfleet folk here. It might help that you land the ship in the arena where most people are going to gather, and I don't know. Maybe you could hand out some supplies. You could start getting to some work down here. She's still being terse, but she's being nicer.
Yeah. We look forward to getting our hands dirty there, Major.
All right.
We'll be right down.
Kira out, and she, ends the comms.
After he ends the comms, he's going to turn back to Shiv and go, "Take out that probe, please."
Basically, I'm going to send over to engineering and have them confirm that all of its weapon systems are all its ability to spread garbage has been deactivated.
Yeah, because
Before I
you
bring it in.
basically could go through and program that. Jadzia helps y'all because she can kind of determine Cardassian stuff right now.
All right.
And
So when I've been assured that its ability to
by
destroy has
scans,
been
via scans and stuff, it's not lying to you.
okay, then I'll bring it. Then I'll bring it in and lock it in the shuttle bay, and put it on the list. Put it on the to-do list of the science nerds.
And we're gonna end the episode here, where you get a hail from Gul Dukat, who just says, "I see that you've been playing with my toys, Captain." And that's it. That's the end of the episode.
Woo!
Yay!
So,
Y'all know it's my first real TTRPG.
yeah.
There we go.
And it's when there's obviously, to everybody watching, obviously there were a few little like blips with the technical side of this at the beginning, and maybe a few others, especially if my mic's still quiet. But thank you all for being here, audience. Thank you very much for watching. Congrats, cast. Congrats to you guys. Great first
Thank you.
episode. Y'all did an excellent job. And the tradition here
It was
with
fun.
TSMR games has always been, we go through and we talk about what our favorite moments of the episode were. So I will go, like always, in reverse order, and we'll start with Darj. Darj, favorite moments of today's episode. By the way, today's title, if y'all didn't know, is The Paw of the People, but I totally had that title for other things y'all are supposed to do that could be moved to the second episode.
Mhm.
So we might end up changing the name of
Well, for the YouTube upload, you could definitely do it. Yeah.
I will
everybody
say
ignore the
this,
title
Buster.
today.
Buster, in my experience,
Don't title
players
it till
are
it's over.
always they're always slower than you think. So you're like, oh, they can get to this easy, and they spend 15 minutes on like
A door.
Does this door open properly? Is this trapped? And they
Yeah.
name the door, and then they give it a backstory, and then
It's
they figure out.
I prepared so much, and then y'all went in such a direction that I was like, I'm not prepared for half the shit they're doing. I'm having to do it on the fly. But that's
Hey, it worked well.
But anyway, Darsh, your favorite moment of the episode?
Well, it was just a little thing that I learned about Shiv because, immediately when the character was introduced, I knew that Nolan and Shiv wouldn't get along, but to realize that he was a joke stealer. I'm watching you. I'm watching you.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like, yeah. What a dick.
It's the advantages of command.
All right, well, Ariana, what was yours?
Honestly, for a while there, it felt like everything we were attempting was just easy breezy. So my failures were my favorite part because then it actually introduced some
Complication.
doubt and everything. Yeah, it made it a little more interesting to get through it. So
And then Jen, what about you?
Yeah, honestly, getting to use one of my talents to assist was like, yes, I'm paying attention and I can do this thing. That's yeah, that was kind of fun.
And then Disco.
Yeah, it's about finding the ways to tag team the tasks. Basically
The
taking
collaboration.
the science and applying the tactical stuff, and then having Jagar run comms on it. That's how it's supposed to be.
And then Paul.
I would say the what is my favorite moment?
Remember, I always cheat and say
okay. It was. I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna be a little honest, and it was the whole Shiv calling up and being like, a tree shot at us and it's destroying the Earth. Please transport it into space. And then having a conversation with Gul Dukat that's just basically like, here's your stuff, bye. And then the disco light trees that is just going off and confusing Cardassians was great. All right,
To
that's
be
just what I'll
fair,
say.
transporting it into space was another idea of Voss's that Ship took. So technically, it was his idea.
This is fun. I don't know if anybody is like looking in chat right now, but like,
I'm sorry, I
yeah.
haven't paid any attention to your chat. And thank you, chat. We love you, chat.
But from Sleazy Mirror, watching you guys slowly gel as a party.
Yeah, tell us, chat, what your favorites were too.
Elia, I only had Gator for 3 hours, but if anything happened to him, et cetera.
Yeah. I think my favorite part was taking a break. No, I'm just kidding. It actually did give me a respite to kind of get there and go, okay, what the hell am I doing with these kids, these crazy space kids here? And Space Dad. Sorry, Jared. I have to remember you're not a space kid. You're a space dad. Yeah. Honestly, though, like it's hard for me to like pick one. It's like picking your favorite kid. But honestly, I liked the tree exchange as well. I mean, the tree exchange was like one of my tops, and so was like the fact that you put Jadzia and Uvana together, who previously had a little bit like of a relationship kind of fostering over the fact that they, they kind of bonded in our session 0, which will be up on YouTube soon, chat. So just let me do.
Yeah, now that we have the opening. Oh shit! I need to render the title out.
But yeah, and of course our opening is easy favorite moment because it looks so fantastic. Thank you.
It's so badass.
Thank you to both.
Super pro.
Thank you to Darj for putting it together, and I know that Disco contributed some shots and things like that. So thank you as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really great. And then what else? What else did we have going on? That's pretty much it. Thank you everybody that came and watched. We appreciate you. I guess a lot of like the other half of the episode I have planned is going to be a next episode, but it's going to be a different time, like in day. It's not going to be like the same. We will have just so everybody watching. We will schedule we will schedule the next episode, right? We will schedule that, but we have to. I'm trying to think. I'm sorry, words right now. Words. I like to sort of schedule them one at a time. That way, it's make sure that it works and meshes with everybody because. Some people are moving to Europe. Some people have probably got vacations like me coming up, things like that. So with all that said, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to the chat for watching, especially the cast for playing. And